Welcome back to Minute Maid Park as the Astros and Diamondbacks have changed cities and moved from Phoenix to Houston. And the Astros are feeling pretty good about themselves tonight, coming in winning 7 of 8 and 4 straight on the road. But this all started right here at Minute Maid Park in the bottom of the 13th inning on May 24th when Tony Kemp tripled deep to center and Carlos Correa followed that up with a walk-off single. They took that momentum and turned it into a 3-game home sweep. And then they went on the road to Los Angeles and brought all that good play with them. They dropped the first one in LA before rolling off 4 straight road wins. And the offense really got it going in the final 3 games on the road, scoring 8 runs in each one of those wins. They'll look to bring those hot bats back here to Houston in support of Mike Fiers tonight. Fiers is also happy to be back here at Minute Maid Park, where he's gotten all 3 of his wins this season, and his ERA is a good over 3 runs better here than on the road. Now, combine Mike Fiers' good starts at Minute Maid with the Astros' hot bats, and we're looking like we're going to get a 5-game win streak tonight. And after this break, we're going to have the lineup that'll be trying to get that done tonight.
Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Jack in the Box. It's back, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. We've had some rain in the area tonight. The roof is closed. Mike Fiers has taken the mound for the opener of this 5-game homestand. 2 with the D-backs, 3 with the Oakland Athletics on this homestand here at Minute Maid Park, where the Astros are 13-13 for the season. Mike Fiers in his career 4-2 with a 3.02 ERA in this ballpark. And as he goes out tonight for game 3 of this 4-game set, 2 in Arizona and 2 here, here's the way the Diamondbacks shape up. They lead it off with second baseman Gene Segura. Houston native Michael Bourne and former Astro is in center field batting second. It's Paul Goldschmidt from Houston and the Woodlands batting third at first base. Jake Lamb is the third baseman with Ricky Weeks the DH, Chris Herman, a Tomball, Texas native. The catcher, Chris Owings at shortstop. Yasmani Tomas in left field. Brandon Drury, the right fielder. The pitcher will be lefty Robbie Ray.
Our player profile is brought to you by BMW. As we look at Mike Fiers, over 10 games, 9 of those starts, 3-3 record on the year. You can see the ERA not where he would like it, over 5. He will strike out some guys. That opponent's batting average against a little bit alarming, 293. He has stayed away from the walks. Last time out did not help him. at the Angels in a loss, allowing 7 earnings over 3 2/3 innings.
So as Fiers goes out tonight against this Arizona club, which has lost 13 of 19. He tries to get the Astros closer to 500. They've won 7 of their last 8 and 4 in a row. They're at 24 and 29. Gene Segura presents an immediate threat with 67 hits, second in the National League, a .306 average, 5 homers, 27 runs batted in for Segura. Former shortstop has moved seamlessly to second base this year for Arizona. And there's ball 1. Evan Gattis doing the catching tonight for Fiers. Evan is catching back-to-back games for the first time this season. Third baseman Valbuena's in tight. Segura takes, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Fiers' walk rate is down this season. He has walked just 9 in 55 1/3 innings.
I think consistency in the strike zone has been an issue to this point for Mike.
Yeah, we say that about walk rates, and that sometimes is not going to lead to an entirely positive situation for a pitcher, right?
Yeah, not necessarily, and it depends if you get some calls once in a while. How about this one? That's a very good pitch to be able to utilize. Look at the strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson.
That's in for a strike. The home plate umpire is Sean Barber. 3 balls and a strike to Segura, traded by Milwaukee to Arizona. And he swings at that one to make the count a full 3-2 right now. Segura's walked only 5 times this season.
Good offensive player. Mike Fiers suddenly making some tough pitches in this at bat. Hasn't gotten credit for all of it, but now a chance to put his leadoff man away.
Segura does take a leadoff walk. And Michael Bourne will follow. Diamondbacks are 5th in runs scored in the National League with 247. They just finished a 2-3 homestand, losing the 2 games to the Astros Monday and Tuesday. Michael Bourne with a .343 batting average, has 6 runs batted in. He's hit safely in 6 of his 7 starts. Bourne has a total of 35 at bats with Arizona, and he may be bunting. Valbuena's in on the grass at third. And there's the runner going, and the throw to Carlos Correa in time. Segura thrown out by Evan Gattis, who's now caught 3 of 8.
Evan Gattis has been making some really good throws. This one on the shortstop side of the bag, but a good strong throw once again from Evan. And I think Segura feels like maybe they should look at this one again, and he might have a point. Our Super Mo, brought to you by Mattress Firm. And throw your next pitch, Mike Fiers, because you don't want them taking another look at that one.
On that angle, though, looked like they got him on the fingers.
Might have.
Good off-speed pitch, dips low under the swing of Michael Bourne, and the count goes to 1-1.
I think one of the big questions. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And if you get that look, that call will stand. Very good call at the back.
Good action on that one from Fiers as well. 1-2.
Well, I would say that splitter from Mike Fiers might turn out to be a pitch that's utilized highly this evening. You can see the grip there in the glove, and then just diving, a very good changeup with some action.
Batting average .224 against that pitch. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. His fastball, though, has been problematic for Mike, with a .459 batting average against the heater for Fiers.
A guy that typically pitches up in the zone with his fastball better have a little extra to make that pitch succeed.
Curve. Ooh, 3-2.
What are we doing here?
We're calling balls.
I don't know if Evan Gattis is just framing it so well that. Yeah, it's a strike.
Right there, borderline. And now a walk to Bourne. And you've caught so many games, Ash. Isn't this a big part of a game, those first inning adjustments that a starting pitcher has to make to the strike zone and other elements?
Yeah, you know, you're going out there, the mound is not the same as the one you were throwing on in the bullpen. So you get used to things out in the pen. You come to this mound, you try to get 8 warm-up tosses in, and get a feel for the strike zone. But then you have the adjustment of the home plate umpire, who is just settling in on the evening. So there's a lot going on.
Paul Goldschmidt got his award as Houston Area Player of the Year from the Baseball Writers of Houston right before the game today. There's ball one. Goldie with a 6-game hitting streak has 10 homers, 33 runs batted in, a .269 batting average. He's walked 49 times to lead the National League. That one pops in for a strike call, and it's 1-1. Fires facing a hitter in Goldschmidt, who's hit .404 in his last 14 games with 13 runs batted in and 12 walks. He's one of the elite players in Major League Baseball.
Without question, offensively, as good as they come down at first base.
Yeah, he steals bases. He plays very good defensive baseball, and there's just not anything he doesn't do well. 2-1 now on Goldschmidt, who went 4 for 7 with a homer and 3 runs batted in the 2 games in Arizona. And the throw goes over on Michael Bourne. He's 3 for 3 in steals since joining the D-backs. 329 steals in his career. Diamondbacks ranked 3rd in stolen bases in the National League with 36. Goldschmidt is late, and it's 2-2.
Not only those offensive numbers on Michael Bourne in that most recent 2 games in Arizona, but he made a whale of a defensive play on a ball hit by Evan Gattis.
He did.
That figured to bring in at least or bring in 2 runs.
Spectacular catch by Bourne. Fires was able to sneak that heater by Goldschmidt upstairs, and see what he tries here on 2-2. Quick move to first. Yeah, Michael Bourne just really committed a tremendous play in center field, and he seemed to catch the back of the baseball when he was reaching back behind him to grab that drive by Gattis.
Can you do that? Can you catch the back of the baseball?
No, not really, but that's the way it looked on your replay you guys had yesterday with you and Blummer and Julia. Maybe it was the desert air, but it was a spectacular looking play on TV.
It's got to be a way we could sponsor that. Catching the back of the baseball with.
The front half, though, got by him.
Yeah, well, you only get half an out for that play, though.
That's flared to shallow center field. Gomez coming in hard, and that loops in front of him. He barehands, throws toward third base. Here's the tag by Valbuena on Bourne. Out number 2.
Carlos Gomez, just back in his 2nd game now, makes a nice heads-up play. And that was really a good read by Michael Bourne in terms of the ball dropping. He didn't hesitate at all, but he should have hesitated at second base, because Gomez had just an easy shot when it was all said and done. I don't know about the barehanded effort in this regard, but once it's done, boy, that throw was on the money.
4th outfield assist of the season for Carlos. And the tag by Valbuena on the sliding runner. Bourne takes care of out number 2 on the single by Goldschmidt, giving him a 7-game hitting streak. Now it's Jake Lamb. Lamb hit a home run in the series in Arizona against the Astros. He's on a 9-game streak.
Let's take a look at the Lexus defensive rankings as we look at the outfield for the Astros. All guys who throw very well. Jake Marisnick moves from center to left field. We know about George Springer. Carlos Gomez back in there. Very strong arm, and in this case extremely accurate as well.
That one crowds him. It's called a strike, and it's 0-2 on Lamb. Lamb went 3 for 8 against the Astros in the desert. Interesting scheduling with the 2 games there, followed by the 2 games here. He's hit .355 during the 9-game streak. In the dirt, good block, and now the runner's moving. Well, ball was left behind by Gattis. He blocked it well, but then didn't pick it up, and it's 1-2 now on a wild pitch.
Evans had this happen a couple of times where he's done a great job blocking the pitch and then simply can't find it.
appeared to hit the foot of Lamb.
I think in each case it has hit the batter.
Now Goldschmidt to second with a 1-2 count. Lamb's 25 years old. Grounds one and wide of first base to Marwin Gonzalez. Lamb hit a homer Monday night off Colin McHugh, but Colin really helped the Astros bullpen and pitched well in that complete game 8-3 win. And the Arizona bullpen has been called into action for 2 consecutive games now after 3 1/3 innings by the Arizona starter. Lamb strikes out, and that is the first inning for Arizona with no runs, 1 hit. They had 3 base runners but left 1, no score. Now the Astros come up with A.J. Hinch's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. George Springer leads it off, a torrid leadoff man and right fielder, followed by second baseman Jose Altuve. Carlos Correa hits third and plays shortstop. The cleanup man tonight is the catcher Evan Gattis, with Marwin Gonzalez at first base, Luis Valbuena at third, Carlos Gomez in center field, Tyler White the DH, Jake Marisnick in left field batting ninth.
And on the mound, it's left-hander Robbie Ray. Guy who can rush it up there pretty good. ERA would tell you that he hasn't had great success this year, and yet pitching in Arizona, tough pitchers ballpark. 61 hits allowed in 52 innings, so a lot of base runners to go with those 26 walks.
George Springer's ready on a 4-game hitting streak. Slider ball 1 to Springer. His batting average up to .288. He has 12 homers, 33 runs batted in. He now has 61 hits, which is tied for 8th. And coming off quite a road trip. Broken bat to Goldschmidt. And hit the pitcher, who's limping over to first. Robbie Ray was hit by the barrel of that bat, which is out around the pitching rubber. And they're checking with him. He's grimacing there after out number 1 is recorded.
Yeah, that would be a tough way to pitch 1/3 of an inning as a starter. But it's awfully dangerous. And it looked like Robbie Ray just kind of disregarded the bat. Where's that back foot that gets locked up for George?
Looked like maybe the left ankle is where the barrel of that bat landed on Robbie Ray.
I think I would take generally the barrel over that jagged end on the other side. But then again, I'm sitting here.
Check it out here. Well, maybe the right foot caught it as he was crossing over. He's staying in. He lost his last start to San Diego and had a rough outing, so you know he doesn't want to come out of this game, Ash.
I was going to say, I think we need x-rays on the slow-mo.
Jose Altuve follows. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, 327 with 9 homers, 31 runs batted in. He's hit .440 during his streak. Check swing foul, strike 1 to Altuve. He is 4 for 8 lifetime against Robbie Ray. He's driven in runs in 4 games in a row to tie his career high.
I think the RBIs could be a coming for Jose batting in the 2 spot.
Yeah, he's just really good in this spot. 1 ball, 1 strike. He won't get up probably quite as many times if it stays this way the rest of the year, but he may drive in more runs and still should score his share of runs. But I think what he will do is give himself up some. He is just an ideal number 2 hitter. It might cost him some points on his batting average, though, Ash.
It could. We've also seen him give up in terms of hitting the fly ball for the sac fly, where he's gone after a pitch well out of the strike zone just to drive in the run. I think that's a very good thing. I think the Astros need more guys to step up to be the RBI guys. A lot is going to come down to George Springer, how much he gets on base in front of Jose.
Yes, it is. 3-2 now. Robbie Ray is 1-1 in his career against the Astros with a 4.30 ERA. He made his major league debut against Houston in 2014. He was with Detroit that year. Began his career in the Washington organization. Out to left center field. Wide open space is there. Altuve heads for second. Michael Bourne gets it back in after an Altuve double. 19th double for Altuve and a 7-game hitting streak.
Young man can really play this game. You saw him make an extremely rare error yesterday. So he's really good defensively, great base runner, and with the bat, at times unparalleled.
It really gives the Astros a second leadoff man, if you will, if Springer does not reach base.
You are dead right with that.
And in scoring position now for Carlos Correa on a 3-game hitting streak, 253, 8 homers, 27 runs batted in after a very good road trip. Time call by Carlos. He went 3 for 6, driving in 2 in the Arizona series. That 13th inning pinch homer in Anaheim gave the Astros their series win over the Angels. And as they start play tonight, they're trying to keep pace with Oakland. Oakland won 5-1 at home over Minnesota this afternoon, and the Astros need a win to stay tied with the A's for 4th place. Texas and Cleveland are tied 3-3 in the 8th inning tonight. Texas in first place. Chris Herman, the catcher, receives it for ball 1. Homecoming for Chris Herman of Tom Ball, who's not only caught but played even some center field for this beleaguered Arizona club, really troubled by injuries this year.
A.J. Pollock was to be that everyday all-star type center fielder once again, but an injury came along and changed that. That is a rare combination. Craig Biggio-like, catcher to center fielder.
Day game coming tomorrow, a 1:10 start for Cy Young Award winners last year, Dallas Keuchel and Zach Greinke. In for a strike. That makes it 2-1 on Correa.
That's a 2-0 fastball in a hittable spot that I guess it just depends on the mindset of the hitter, but love to see Carlos be that guy that, like I was talking about with Altuve, is a big run producer on this team.
He looks at it. It's a strike, and it's 2-2 with Gaddis on deck.
See where pitch 3 is, right there to hit, and this one inside the inside corner, all ball on the plate. So a couple of fastballs while ahead in the count for Correa. Good pitches to jump on.
And a strikeout for Ray. Takes care of out number 2 for Robbie Ray. He's had very good strikeout numbers this season.
And I just don't see this as a normal part of things with Carlos Correa. He gets 3 fastballs, all ball on plate, swings at only one of them, and comes up empty.
Now Evan Gattis comes up. He was 0 for 4 with an RBI in the Arizona series. Gattis takes it, and Ray deals outside for ball 1.
Ray up to 96. Talk about rushing it up there, and he can do it, but he's bringing it here in the first.
Gattis hit a homer off him last season. Ray pitched twice against the Astros last year. He was 5-12 for Arizona despite a 3.52 ERA last year. In for a strike. That makes it 1-1. Dollar dogs tonight. There's been a real run on dollar dogs.
What's the rush?
It's dinner time.
Oh, that's right. It's not getaway day, so we're not going extra innings tonight.
No. Chop slowly to third. There's Lamb playing it to his left and on over to Goldschmidt. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and after 1, no score.
Here as we go to the second inning, but we are going to take a look at Inside the Box score, brought to you by Jack in the Box. And on that Inside the Box score, take a look at some of the guys who have cut down their walks this year. Of course, Mike Fiers on that list, really good, and then goes and walks 2 in the first inning. Clayton Kershaw is tearing it up. He's walking a half a man per ball game. Gio Gonzalez, also a guy probably healthy once again, finding the strike zone. Stay in there, Mike Fiers.
He got through that first inning despite 2 walks and a single. He had caught stealing, and then Michael Bourne was thrown out trying to go first to third on a looping single by Goldschmidt. Now Ricky Weeks DHing tonight, has a .226 average, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. He has more experience at the DH spot than any other player on the Diamondbacks. But they have a very young team. He's been around for a while. That is in for a high strike call. Weeks with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in, playing at age 33 this season. Took him horns for that little guy. Still trying to get the fingers out there for you. Off the plate, and it's 1-1 on Weeks, who played for Seattle last season with 84 at bats in the big leagues. Ricky was the 2nd player drafted in the 03 draft. He played at Southern University in Louisiana, led the nation in hitting 2 years in a row. That one slips out high for Fiers, and it's 2-1 for Mike. Back in 05, Ricky Weeks with Milwaukee had homers against the Astros off both Roger Clemens and Roy Oswalt.
There's a conversation back at home.
Yeah. High shot out to center field. Gomez tracking it deeper and deeper all the way to the track. 1 out.
You were talking about some of the numbers, high batting average on the fastball against the fastball of Mike Fiers this year. If you pitch behind and have to come with that fastball, you're going to see a lot of balls hit hard.
Weeks just got underneath that one. Now Chris Herman's the batter. I mentioned Chris was born in Tomball. He went to Alvin Community College and the University of Miami. .293 for Chris with 5 homers. He's driven in 20. And that's ball 1 to Chris, who played with the Minnesota Twins last year and the years before that. They drafted him in the 6th round in '09. Arizona got him in a trade. Now it's 2-0 to Chris, who played in both games of the 2-game set in Arizona, going 0 for 5 with an RBI. Plate, and it's 3-0.
Good looking pitch, maybe off the edge. We'll see.
A little bit. Infield shifted around. Herman takes one right down the pipe. 3-1. Herman brought a career 181 major league average into this season, but his numbers are very good for this year. Swings through that one, and it's a full count now with Owings on deck.
Must have been the little cutter from Mike. Didn't break a whole lot and took a little bit of velocity off.
Ground ball, and there's Carlos Correa right up the middle. Taking care of out number 2. Fiers reached for that ball. Didn't think he deflected it, but he may have slowed it down a bit. Couldn't tell, Ash.
Looked like he came up empty. Let's take our own peek. And yeah, I think he came up empty, but that shift had Carlos Correa right in the spot. See, Fiers is upset with himself for coming up empty.
Chris Owings is the batter, playing shortstop tonight. We've seen him at center field in this series. There's ball 1. Owings, a .288 hitter with 2 homers, has 17 runs batted in, and 4 triples this year for Chris Owings. He fouls it back 1-1. You and Blummer and Julia were talking about this with these Arizona injuries, and you detailed their outfield situation for us earlier, and that's pressed somebody like Chris Owings into outfield action. They've really had to rely on their flexibility to cover those outfield spots, and they traded away Ender Inciarte after last year. He was one of their 3 starting outfielders as well.
Yeah, that's where it really gets tough. You think you know what you have as you look at your roster. A.J. Pollock, again, a guy who made the All-Star squad last year, played very well in center field. So he's our man. He's going to be out, and then he gets hurt in the spring, and it just changes everything. So you've got to start shifting that roster around.
Again, the curveball comes in high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Doesn't appear that Mike has a feel for that pitch. There's the breakdown on Mike.
And the velocity has been up to 91 on that fastball tonight, so not bad. That's a pretty good spot for Mike. The split finger has looked great at times. Curveball just kind of launching out of the hand.
In one of the stories after his last start, and you told us that he gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings, Mike chastised himself for not throwing curveballs in that last start.
His curveball is a very effective pitch, but when you watch it on a night like tonight in the first couple of innings, you wonder, has he ever thrown that thing for a strike? Pitches will come and go for guys.
Strike 3 call, and that's the way the top of the 2nd inning ends as he locates one right near the knees, slipping the fastball by him on 3-2 to keep the game scoreless.
2nd, and it's time for our Chevy Stroh poll. Who do you think is the Astros' biggest NL rival? Now, we got some Houston ties with the Diamondbacks and Goldschmidt, Bourne, and Chris Herman. Or is it the Cubs or Cardinals from the old NL Central days? Or is it the Braves with all those great playoff matchups? Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brendan. Marwin Gonzalez leading it off here in a scoreless game in the bottom of the 2nd. Takes strike 1. 225, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in for Marwin. He was 1 for 6 in the 2 games in the desert. Robbie Ray deals, and that's called a ball for a 1-1 count. Ash, what time did you guys get to your homes last night?
It was about 11:30 for me, and yeah, you'd love to get back a little sooner, but it wasn't bad at all. It meant that I could beg for a nap today.
Day game tomorrow. That should be a delightful one to watch. That's smoked out to center field. Michael Bourne way back. Bourne at the wall. Tremendous play by Bourne.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Michael Bourne has been around the game for a while and should be aging, but I don't think his legs know that. He can go get it.
Yeah, he does it again. We talked about the catch on Gaddis.
You know, we've also talked about Marwin Gonzalez. From the right side of the plate, he's got some legitimate power. And that's that area that some of the hitters just don't feel like it's fair, and they're probably right, but it sure makes for intriguing plays in this ballpark. Marwin Evan Gaddis hit this smoke job out to left center field, and that was going to produce a couple of runs early in the ballgame, and looked at the moment like it might change the fortunes of the game. The Astros went on and put runs on the board.
Luis Valbuena took a look at ball 1 there. Valbuena fouls it for a 1-1 count. Valbuena with 6 homers, 17 runs batted in, has a .227 batting average. Hit a solo homer yesterday. He's hit 4 in his last 7 games now. He's a part of what's been going on at the bottom of the order lately for the Astros.
Plays so well defensively. When he gets that home run bat working at all, he becomes very valuable.
He finished May hitting .258 in the month. 6 homers, 13 runs batted in, and .879 OPS in May. 1 and 2. It all added up with several key players for the Astros stepping up the game in May after really rough Aprils, with 17 wins and 12 losses for the Astros in May. That's a shot. Diving Segura throwing from his right knee. Well, the Diamondbacks came to play with the gloves tonight.
Well, that's 2 plays in the inning that right now keep a run off the board. This ball wasn't hit dead on the barrel, maybe a little toward the label, but that's a really good play. Now, if the second baseman's playing straight up, it's probably a much easier play there, but covering the ground well. Luis Valbuena, a little bit of hobbling at the end of that play. Sometimes great plays against you can make something hurt.
Carlos Gomez rejoined the Astros and was in the starting lineup yesterday with an infield hit and a walk in 4 trips. Gomez looks at ball 1, checking in at 185 with no homers, 5 runs batted in. He hit 1 home run in his 5 rehab games for AA Corpus Christi, going 5 for 20. Fouls that one back, and it's 1-1 as he reclaims his center field spot. And A.J. Hinch has been asked about playing time among the outfielders. Of course, Jake Marisnick, as you know, has heated it up, playing center field quite a bit of the time in Gomez's absence, so he'll just get a feel for that and play it as it develops. He mentioned the left-handers, and the Astros figure to see several left-handed pitchers in the days to come. So it could be that you will see this type of a lineup again with Gomez and Marisnick both playing.
Well, I will say Jake Marisnick has been swinging the bat very well lately and earning playing time, and it becomes tough when you've got that battle going on. Colby Rasmus, one of the leaders in RBIs in the league, so yeah, it's tough to divvy up enough playing time out there. George Springer, you're not going to take out.
Now 3-2 for Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray is 4th among left-handed pitchers in strikeouts per 9 innings this year. 10.38 punch-outs per 9 frames. It's tapped to short, and Owings comes up with it, making it a 1-2-3 second thanks to Bourne and the second baseman Segura. No score. Score. We move to the 3rd inning. Christy Felice joining us to tell us about a weekend to match all weekends now, because you got the bobblehead with you, Colby Rasmus.
I do. That's going to be a big one this weekend.
That's Saturday, right?
That is Saturday. We'll start it off on Friday with a Prince tribute for our fireworks show.
Okay.
So we're really excited about this one. Orbit has a lot up his sleeve, I'll say, that's going to kick off that fireworks show on Friday night. And we're really excited about this one. We'll have a great skit pregame or pre-fireworks, and then obviously a very timely tribute to Prince for that theme that night.
Yasmani Tomas taking strike 1. So that's Friday night. The Oakland A's are in town.
And then lots going on Saturday. So to start, we'll have our Bayou Bash out on the plaza and on Crawford Street. Really excited about that. Our Cajun celebration is back again for the 9th year with crawfish, live music, lots of great things going on outside for that street festival. And I will say, though, we are watching the weather patterns, as you just pointed out, the rain outside right now. So I encourage everyone to keep an eye on our social media accounts and on the website. We'll post updates here over the next 24 to 48 hours as we kind of watch these weather patterns for that event. But hoping that it'll cooperate with us and we'll be able to have that Bayou Bash event outside. That's always a fun one.
You bet.
And then also on Saturday, actually a little bit before Bayou Bash, this weekend is also Orbit's birthday. So we have to throw Orbit a great kind of party. It's presented by Coca-Cola. On Saturday, there's a Orbit and Friends birthday brunch in the Union Station lobby. There are limited tickets left available for this brunch that you can get at astros.com/Orbit. It's a great time from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Orbit and a ton of his mascot friends from around the league will be here and just kind of mingling with the kids and their families for that brunch on Saturday. So I definitely encourage you to check that out, astros.com/Orbit. That'll be a really fun time. And then saving the best for last, maybe, on Saturday, although they're all fantastic things. Everyone is excited about our Colby Rasmus postseason celebration bobblehead. This one has been incredibly fun to work on, and Colby has been an amazing sport as we've put this together, as you guys have been running the bobblehead commercial that we've had going on for a while with him showering his own bobblehead with champagne. He just has been a really great sport to help us promote this, and it'll be a nice way for us to relive the magic of the 2015 postseason.
The bobblehead does have a shirt, though.
The bobblehead has a shirt. I've got it right here. The bobblehead and the Bayou Bash are both presented by HEB.
That's a hit by Drury. Played well at the wall by Marisnik, who gets it into second base. So that's hit number 2 for Arizona. Yeah, that's a well sought after bobblehead of Colby.
I just can't get over. I mean, look at that hair.
Yeah, that's something.
The hair and the goggles. It's pretty well reenacted in this bobblehead. So definitely encourage fans to get here early on Saturday. Lots going on. Orbit's birthday brunch, Bayou Bash out on the plaza, then the Colby Rasmus bobblehead for 10,000 fans. Definitely get here early to get you this item you definitely don't want to miss.
That might be the most hair I've ever seen on a bobblehead.
Isn't that fun?
Now Segura, he walked earlier, and there's ball 1. Yeah, this weekend, of course, the kids now are going to be out of school.
Kids will be out of school. It's our kickoff to summer, so a great time to celebrate Orbit's birthday, and we'll head into Sunday, which is his actual birthday celebration, where we'll have some of the, like I said, the mascots from around the league celebrating with him, interacting with fans during the game, and we'll also be giving away an Orbit lunch bag for 10,000 fans as well, presented by Coca-Cola also.
So that'll be good for the beach, or
that'll
wherever.
be great for the beach. Kids are getting out of school, but they can use it for the summer and then when they head back to class in the fall. So we're excited about this item and really looking forward to celebrating Orbit all weekend long, both Saturday and Sunday.
2 balls and a strike. These mascots can really present some entertainment when they all get together.
They definitely can.
Who's your favorite other mascot who's coming in other than Orbit? Do you have one?
You know what? I don't think I can pick a favorite.
Okay. Clutch going to be here?
Clutch will be here. We have, like I said, from around Major League Baseball, but then also our local mascots, Clutch, Toro, Diesel, will all be out here supporting Orbit. So I would have to give my favorite nod to all of the other Houston mascots that will be here. I think that's fair.
They all get together occasionally, right?
Exactly.
Do they all celebrate each other's birthdays?
They do. You know, it's actually really neat to see. A lot of the teams have mascot birthday weekends like we're going to be celebrating this weekend, and Orbit gets called on quite a bit to go out and help his friends celebrate as well. So it's a nice little camaraderie that they have across Major League Baseball. And again, like I said, within Houston as well for our other hometown teams.
Big 3-2 pitch coming here from Mike Fiers. Well, we know people who want to make their plans to get out here, not only for this weekend, but for the important games to come throughout June and the later months now as they head into summer vacation.
Exactly.
Runner goes, and that's smacked into left field past the diving Correa. Here's Marisnik throwing behind the runner and safe at second base on the Segura single.
And going back to Saturday in that Rasmus bobblehead, we also have a fun social media contest taking place right now, too, that everyone should go check out and be a part of. It's the hashtag Colby Party. So we want to see photos of our fans partying like Colby Rasmus in celebration. Send in your photos using that hashtag to all of the major social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, for your chance to win some Colby Rasmus autographed items.
That could get interesting.
Isn't that funny? You know, did you see all of the pictures around Halloween of kids dressed up, kids and adults dressed up as Colby Rasmus as their Halloween party with the goggles on, and their postseason celebration has really taken on a life of its own. So we're thrilled to celebrate that this weekend. And you can go to astros.com/Colby Party for all the rules and more details on how to enter that competition. But we've gotten some really fun photos in so far, and I'm sure there are many more to come over the next couple of days leading into that Saturday.
Bourne steps out now with a 1-0 count. Yeah, and the way the Astros played in May now has people wanting to come back to the ballpark.
I think we've turned a corner here, Brownie.
Well, the recent games have been very positive. And of course, Mr. Zach Greinke awaits the Astros tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike, so they'd love to get this one, keep things rolling.
Absolutely. Nice road trip heading back home.
Yeah. Winning a series against the Angels, and the Astros have those games at Texas coming up after this homestand.
Will be great to get some momentum heading back into Arlington.
Gomez way back into left center, and he snags it at the wall. He fires in toward third. Tremendous catch by Gomez at the wall, leaping in left center field. And robbing Michael Bourne, who acknowledges after his own larceny that Gomez has pulled one off on him.
That was fantastic. That might be a bobblehead next year.
That might be. What's the timing on this? That's some concentration, and Mr. Bourne can only smile.
He's done some things like that a few times in this ballpark, hasn't he?
You bet. A number of times. Now it's Goldschmidt coming up. He singled in the first inning. Runners at first and third now after the tag up by Drury, getting him to third base.
And Brownie, just looking ahead to the next weekend that we have in June, while we still have a little bit of time, we've got another jam-packed summer weekend, starting off with Star Wars night on Friday the 17th, followed by Faith and Family night on Saturday the 18th, which is going to be a great post-game concert featuring Brandon Heath, and we'll have a testimony from both Colby Rasmus and his wife Megan. So we're really looking forward to hearing from him and hearing his story. And then Sunday is Father's Day and picnic in the park. So a ton of things going on at the ballpark this month on our weekend games, and a lot of really great activities for families. So I encourage everyone to check out our website and come on out and take part in some of the great stuff we have going on. Are you going to be a Star Wars character this year, Brownie?
Let's do it.
I think we need to.
Well, we had fun with that last year.
It was a lot of fun.
Didn't know we were going to do that again. So for the fans, what can they expect on Star Wars
So
night?
on Star Wars night, you can come dressed as your favorite Star Wars character. But then we are also at astros.com/Star Wars have a special ticket package that you can get to sit in a section with other Star Wars aficionados and receive a Jedi Council bobblehead, which is fantastic. It's a trio of both, or of all of Altuve.
Drury coming home. The throw to fire's not in time to get him, and it's 1-0 Arizona. Both runners move up on the pitch off Gaddis's mitt.
It'll be a triple bobblehead consisting of Keuchel, Correa, and Altuve serving as a Jedi Council in Jedi robes. So it's going to be a really great item.
It's ruled a wild pitch by the official scorer.
That item is only for the folks that buy through the Star Wars ticket package, though, so just want to make that clear. If you want to get that Jedi Council bobblehead, we've got tickets available still at astros.com/Star Wars, so you'll want to make sure that you have the appropriate ticket, and we have on the website where the redemption points are once you get here to take part in that night and get that item.
Now 3-1 to Goldschmidt. That was the third wild pitch of the year for Fiers. Here's a hitter who's really doing a number. A.J. Hinch, of course, acknowledging that Goldschmidt is one of the top players in the game, and the numbers speak to that. He's finished twice in the MVP voting in second place, so his credentials well established. Now they'll talk it over with a count 3-1 on Goldie. Been fun to watch this team come to life again, Christie. The last road trip and the games before that, as they made the move with Springer leading off, and pitchers have fallen into line.
Man, doesn't he just love that one hole?
Yeah. Curveball whacked on a line to left field. Marisnik!
Nice.
Jake Marisnik lays out and makes a fantastic catch in left. Thanks, Christy, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
1 run, 2 hits, and a man left. It could have been worse, but Marisnik laid out for it. 1-0.
That is a better hitter than when he tries to do too much and get too big. So whether it's mental or physical, I don't really care. I like the look of it, and I think he's made a conscious adjustment to try to set the table for Altuve, Correa, etc.
Tyler White batting 8th for the second time this season, takes a slider. It's ball 1. 1-0 Arizona. White with 7 homers, 18 runs batted in, has a .229 average. Leads rookies in doubles and walks. He is 2 for 8 in this series. We're going to call it one big 4-game series, or you can divide it into, actually it's 2 2-game series back to back, but these teams meeting 4 games in a row and changing venues right in the middle as natural geographical rivals in interleague play. 1-2. So Ash, we look at Robbie Ray shooting for win number 3 of the year. He's given up 1 hit through the first 2, and Altuve double.
Like his stuff. Fastball up to 96 tonight, and the Astros have hit some balls pretty hard.
It's backhanded. Lamb at third with the throw to Goldschmidt, who's missed the tag. And he came up the line toward the plate, tried to slap the tag on White, but the throwing error will go to Lamb.
Watching Paul Goldschmidt, I thought he did everything a first baseman could do as he gloved and tried to slap with that tag immediately. Let's take another peek as Tyler White goes down the line. Not a guy known for his speed by any stretch, but you can see how quickly Goldschmidt tried to slap the glove in that direction. Clearly coming up empty. Could Paul have stayed on the bag?
Yeah, that's a fair question. That's the 6th error on Lamb. Now it's Jake Marisnick on a 4-game hitting streak. Bunting, he pushes it up the first base line. Ray tossing to Goldschmidt, who makes the grab in time. It's a sacrifice for Marisnick. 1 out, White to second base.
Over the last few minutes, you've gotten a glimpse at some of the things, minus any hitting, that Jake Marisnick brings to a team. Tremendous defensive outfielder, great base runner, runs very well, and does little things to help a club win. He can get down that line.
He forced Ray to make a nice play, and he did. Now George Springer. Springer grounded out to Goldschmidt.
Time now for the forward spray chart. We're looking at George Springer, and he's turned things on very well. Look at how he utilizes the field. I would have guessed even more to right field, but he's using center extremely well. Just about as much as left field, and of course he's hitting the long ball as well, and you don't mind seeing him drive it to left field. Hit that home run yesterday in Arizona to right.
He sure did. He unloaded it. 1-0 to George. He entered the night a .536 career hitter against Arizona. Michael Bourne shades him to right center. The pitch away for ball 2. George, by the way, is hosting a charity event tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the downtown area at the Lucky Strike Bowling Alley. 1201 San Jacinto Street is a charity bowling event for the Stuttering Association for Youth. 2nd annual All-Star Bowling Benefit. It's 3-0.
Let's just hope that goes on for many years to come for George.
George is the national spokesman for the Stuttering Association for the Young.
What a great example. He doesn't shy away from interviews. Just does a great job.
Proceeds from that bowling event tomorrow night will help children from families in need attend Camp SAY, a summer camp for kids who stutter. Very good event. Springer takes a walk. Now runners at first and second for Altuve. George didn't see anything close.
Nothing close at all. Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders as we look at Jose Altuve. He'll be among some league leaders, no doubt about that. Multi-hit games. That's since 2012. Jose Altuve at the top of the list by a pretty decent margin. Ian Kinsler, another second baseman. Robinson Cano. How about that? 3 second basemen at the top of that list. Miguel Cabrera's had some injury time, but he and Adrian Beltre. That's a great list of names.
It really is. Guys who get their hits in bunches. Altuve has already started what could be a multi-hit night with a double in the first inning. He's now 5 for 9 in his career against Robbie Ray. Correa on deck. And it's ball 1 to Jose. Altuve fits quite well into this number 2 role for a lot of reasons, and this is one of them if men are on base.
Really like it, and I do believe that his RBI totals could go much higher than anybody ever guessed for Jose Altuve.
He's hitting .295 with men in scoring position. Moves back from ball 2.
And as well as Jose Altuve was setting up George Springer when the lineup went the other way, George is setting Jose up equally well now. And then there's Carlos Correa and the things he's capable of doing.
Diamondbacks really hoping Robbie Ray can stay in this game for a while with the way they've taxed their bullpen. He's behind 3-0 after throwing 4 straight balls to Springer.
Yeah, the question is, do you green light Altuve and let him take one of his hacks right here? My hunch is he has the green light, but that doesn't mean he'll swing.
He does not, and he takes a 4-pitch walk to load the bases for Correa. Now it's Correa up for the 2nd time. He struck out in the 1st inning. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, out for a visit. Now this Arizona pen has really been called upon. We mentioned in the first 2 games of this 4-game set, the starter went 3 1/3 for Arizona. Escobar Monday night, Corbin yesterday. They can figure on getting a long performance from Zach Greinke tomorrow. But as Butcher talks with Ray, it's tonight he's worried about. And Correa will come around for the 2nd time against him.
You know, it is always about tonight, except for managers who sometimes have to go beyond today's game and think about the upcoming games.
Yeah, they do. They have a string of games coming up, which Arizona does. Correa 2 for 5 in his career with the bases loaded. As White on at 3rd, Springer at 2nd, Altuve at 1st. Gaddis on deck. Fouled away, strike 1 for Carlos. Ray has hit .300 with runners in scoring position. It's 1-1. Next win for Astros skipper A.J. Hinch will be the 200th of his major league managerial career. This is the tightest division of the 6 in the major leagues through the end of May. A spread of just 7.5 games from top to bottom in the AL West. And Herman will go out for a chat with Ray.
You get that scenario with a man at second base. You're going through sets of signs, and you never want to get crossed up. I'm not sure why they get challenging at times, but they do. Never seen a catcher who was wrong.
Correa looks at it, and Herman stopped it. That could have allowed the tying run to score, but it's 2-1. Robbie Ray told his father when he was 12 years old that he was going to be a pro baseball player. And he fulfilled his promise on his dad's birthday in 2010 when he signed his contract with Washington. Foul away.
When's the movie coming out?
Yeah, it has the stuff of a movie so far. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, as with any young player, it's all about staying and having success in the major leagues.
That young man has a dream, but he's not talking.
Correa takes a tight one, and it's 3-2 now.
Yeah, you hate to leave this pitch in the umpire's hands. A lot of times it's going to get rung. That is really close.
Big pitch coming with the bases loaded, 1 out. Struck him out. 2 down.
What happens when you wind up getting deep in the count, a couple of strikes on you, you'll get a pitch like the number 5 just off the edge, and then this one well off the edge, but it's number 5 that sets you up to say, you know what, I need to loosen this up a little bit, and then when you do, you find yourself in a bad spot.
Evan Gattis grounded to third in the first inning. 367 with the bases loaded in his career. Ball 1 to Gattis. This is the 9th time he's been in the cleanup spot in the lineup for the Astros this year. Fouls it back, and it's 1-1. Gattis.
That's a really good hack on a 95-mile-an-hour heater at the knees.
We'll have Lance Berkman on the air with us tomorrow as his Second Baptist TAPS 4A state championship baseball team is honored before the game here tomorrow. 1-2.
You think you can loosen Lance up, get him to talk a bit?
That's not a problem. We always look forward to seeing him, and so we'll welcome him in the 3rd inning tomorrow of that game.
He is fantastic.
Maybe Andy Pettit will be here too. He was the pitching coach. Foul back. Still 1-2. So isn't that amazing that 2 former Astros now from recent years, Craig Biggio and Lance Berkman, both have taken high school teams to state championships.
Pretty good bunch of guys to be able to work with if you're a youth player. Would have loved to have heard some of the things that Andy had to grapple to say when he went to the mound. Right now, let's throw strikes here.
Struck him out, and Ray gets out of trouble. Bases loaded, 1 out. He strikes out Correa and Gattis. 1-0 Arizona. Astros baseball on Root Sports in Houston. We're now being joined by Fox Sports Arizona because of technical issues with the production truck here at Minute Maid Park. We've had a lot of heavy rain. Perhaps it had something to do with that. Anyway, we're trying to restore your own broadcasters to you there in Arizona. Meanwhile, you're stuck with Bill Brown and Alan Ashby.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
And we go to the 4th inning with Jake Lamb. Lamb struck out in the 1st inning, taking ball 1 there. And the Diamondbacks picked up their run on a wild pitch by Mike Fiers. They've out-hit the Astros 3-1, 1 error belonging to Arizona. Fiers falls behind 2-0. Mike walked the first 2 batters in this game, then gave up a Goldschmidt single, but he had a caught stealing. Michael Bourne was thrown out trying to go 1st to 3rd on the single by Goldschmidt, and then he struck out Lamb to get out of 1st inning trouble. Fastball works for him, and Lamb is at a 2-1 count now.
Hate to get in that spot 2-0 and have to come with that 88 up in the zone, but Lamb a couple of times tonight having a tough time getting to that pitch.
Carlos Gomez is stationed over in left center, as you see. Off-speed pitch fouled away. It's 2-2. It's quite an escape act by Robbie Ray. Bases loaded, 1 out, striking out Correa and Gaddis to maintain his 1-0 lead. This Arizona club pitches so much better on the road than at home.
I think that the ballpark scenario in Arizona really lends to aiding the hitters. No question about that.
Gaddis unable to hold on for a foul tip strikeout, and the count stays at 2-2 on Lamb.
I don't know that through the years it's quite as extreme as Coors in Denver, but I would imagine it's in that direction.
Diamondbacks are 14-11 on the road, 9-20 at home. Valbuena out of the shift, makes the play, 1 out. We go to Brendan Agans.
Thanks, guys. And if you're new to Houston and looking to get to know the city better, you better check out the Astros Welcome to Houston package. We invite you to tour our Minute Maid Park and enjoy an Astros game this Saturday. For tickets, visit astros.com/welcome to Houston or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. I could have definitely used a package like that or known about it when I first moved here, guys.
Oh, yeah, it's a big, sprawling city. Would have helped. Inside Minute Maid Park, this is the first of a 5-game homestand for the Astros. Arizona will be moving on to play the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in its next series. Ricky Weeks hit a deep drive. It was caught by the center fielder Gomez. A little tap here. Evan Gaddis slides, gets up, and throws on target to Marlon Gonzalez, 2 out.
Nimble little kitty cat. I tell you what, he got out there quickly. Evan Gaddis has been responding to anybody who had any question marks about his ability to catch. His throwing game in particular has been good.
Yeah, he threw out a base runner trying to steal in the 1st inning. Segura. That's a nice throw after he popped up from the slide.
Don't get in his way.
Chris Herman now takes, and there is strike 1. By the way, Gaddis in his previous 4 starts at catcher. The Astros doing well. They are 3-1 with an ERA of 3.00 with Gaddis behind the plate as the starter this year. Curve now has come around for Mike Fiers. He threw some that did not work for him earlier, and it's 0-2.
Colin McHugh came up with his complete game with Evan back there.
Target upstairs, but Herman's not biting, and it's 1-2. Yeah, and that pairing had worked well, McHugh and Gaddis, but A.J. Hinch does not like matching a catcher with a certain pitcher.
I think there's a lot of logic to that.
2-2. Day game coming tomorrow, so presumably Jason Castro will be behind the plate for that one. Dallas Keuchel goes tomorrow against Zach Greinke. Time call by Herman with Owings on deck. Arizona is chasing first place San Francisco in the NL West. D-backs trail by 10 games. They're in fourth now. Now 3-2 for Fiers.
It's an even number year, Brownie. Watch those Giants.
Yeah. They do well in those situations. A punch out for Mike Fiers gives him a 1-2-3 fourth inning. 1-0 Arizona.
Academy Sports and Outdoors, and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. We look at what the guys have been doing. George Springer, right there at the top of the list. Jose Altuve. It's been a while for Jose. Carlos Correa, Colby Rasmus, Tyler White, some of the big boys with the long ball this year. George Springer has really been pushing those numbers.
1-0 Robbie Ray leads it. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Takes the breaking pitch. There's strike one. Marwin hit one deep to center field. It was caught by Michael Bourne on an excellent play back in the second inning. Marwin's a .323 lifetime hitter against Arizona. 1-1 for Robbie Ray, who in his major league debut as a Tiger beat the Astros. Brett Oberholzer was the starter in Detroit in May of 2014, giving up 1 run in 5 1/3 innings. He breaks that one off, and it's 1-2 on Marwin. Frank Trevino's back in there behind the scoreboard wall in left field, looking in.
Steal some signs while you're out there. Make yourself useful.
There are no rats out there the way there are in Fenway Park's Green Monster, Ash.
Watch him dance in a second.
Is he going to sign that scoreboard wall out there?
I don't know. That hasn't become the tradition yet, has it?
No, not yet. He could be the first. Still 1-2. Valbuena and Gomez to follow Gonzalez here in the Astros' 4th inning. Now, we mentioned the Astros were 17-12 in May, and their pitching got a lot better. They had a 3.81 ERA, but also their offense picked up in that month too. So a lot of things came together for a much better month in that 7-17 April. In the air, and it goes to shallow right field with Segura drifting back. And he's called off. Drury, 1 out.
Yeah, Brownie, as you talk about improvements for the month of May, I'm not sure the bullpen can pitch any better than they have in the month of May, or did. But I think there's room for improvement on the offensive side still. I think a lot of that comes down to guys that bat from the 4 through 9 spots now.
Valbuena hit the ground ball to second, and Segura made an outstanding play to get him. Yeah, that bullpen ERA for the Astros was the best in the majors for the month of May. 2.33. Ball one to Valbuena.
You can point to a lot of the names out there, but Michael Phillies is the guy that really stood up and made a change.
Oh, he had an amazing month. 1-1. Will Harris has put together a long string of scoreless appearances. 22.
Problem with Will is that he was great in the first month too.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't really improve that much in May with his ERA of 0. The Astros pitching staff set a club record for strikeouts in May. Ooh, that's up and in. Valbuena shot a look out at Ray. He's effectively wild tonight.
Watch the quick glance here. Yeah. You talking to me?
I got his attention. He throws that fastball, and it has some movement up and in to a left-handed hitter. Now it's 3-2.
You see the numbers, 94 to 96 with that four-seamer tonight. He rushes it.
He has a good, lively heater. Bounce to Segura on a more routine play this time. 2 outs. Although fastball apparently hasn't always been this good for Ray, because the batting average against it is .303 this season.
Well, we've seen with Ken Giles, even in higher range numbers, if you locate it right through the heart of the plate, major league hitters dialing things up. We'll get to it.
Gomez grounded out after working the count full in the second inning. This one will go into the seats for strike one. Only one Houston hit, a 1-out first inning double by Altuve. The Astros had a field day in those 2 games at Arizona, hitting .352 in those 2 games. No balls, 2 strikes. They scored 8 runs in both. They got 8 runs on 13 hits Monday and 8 runs on 12 hits Tuesday at Chase Field. Shorter stroke that time for Gomez. He stays alive at 0-2.
He's got a keen eye.
Well, you know, he did that. Remember those exhibition games here with Milwaukee? Right at the end of spring training. Hit a double up the right field line on a stroke just like that.
And not taking the big swing, just barreled directly to the ball.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did on that previous pitch.
That might be required against a guy with Ray's lively heater tonight. That's rammed to left field off the scoreboard wall. Picked up by Tomas, and he'll hold him to a long single. A hard hit ball by Gomez.
Well, now, that's the kind of at bat you're looking for from Carlos.
Yes.
He did shorten up with 2 strikes. He was very quick on this one. And when he got the barrel to it, this ball was not coming down.
Get Frank out of that scoreboard
Look
wall.
at this swing. It's really directly to the baseball. Or maybe direct to the baseball.
Frank get out of there in time to avoid injury?
I've never been able to pick up that sound. The microphones down there at the bag are amazing.
Yeah. Big cut by Tyler White, strike 1. He reached on the error by Lamb in the 3rd inning. That was only hit number 2 for Houston. Pitch count, though, is up at 70 now for Robbie Ray, and that may be meaningful. Jake Marisnick's on deck. And for a strike, it's 0-2. Gomez is going. Here's the throw from Herman. Not in time. Stolen base number 6 for Gomez.
You start to see some of the valuable attributes that Carlos Gomez is bringing to the table. We just haven't got enough opportunities to see those come through for Carlos and for the club. Well, that's nice with the one hand directly into the bag. Fully extended arm.
Now he's in scoring position with a 1-2 count on White. That one almost clipped him. It's 2-2 now. Gomez's steal was the 43rd by an Astro this year.
It's actually a really good approach on that pitch. We've seen Tyler White a lot of times employ kind of a fallback flinch move on pitches, even through the heart of the plate. But when you turn back toward catcher and umpire on that pitch and up and in, you're doing it perfectly.
Ray has the lively fastball moving around to different areas tonight. Slider tapped foul. It came up and hit him.
He might have tapped this right back up to the right ear. A lobe hunter. Let's just come back up.
Oh yeah.
Chin and ear maybe.
Really got it on the unprotected side.
That ball's not going to have a lot of success in that beard, but
swing and a miss and a strikeout. Ends the 4th inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. 1-0 Arizona. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. On a rainy night, welcome back inside. Dry, Minute Maid Park. It's 1-0 Arizona. 3 hits for the D-backs, 2 for the Astros. We go to inning number 5 for Mike Fiers. And it'll be Chris Owings leading it off. He struck out looking in the 2nd. Fiers struck out 4. This one goes foul and out of play for strike 1. Of the Astros' last 17 games, 13 have been decided by 2 runs or 1 run. Well, just a lot of experience in close ball games. A.J. Hinch was talking about that thing before the game tonight. The fact that they've gotten all this close game experience under their belts this year. Foul ball. 0-2. may not be easier on the manager, but at least the players have the feel for what it takes.
Yeah, I wonder about the players too. If you win close games, you've got a great feel in the dugout and clubhouse. When you're losing close games, it tears your insides out.
Yeah.
You can lose those wipeouts and not really take a whole lot home with you.
1-2. It's easier to lose like a 7-2 game, right?
Much easier.
Yeah.
Especially if you get a couple of hits. No, I didn't say that.
Mookie Betts has a couple of hits tonight. They're both homers.
Man, the Boston lineup, phenomenal stuff.
Curveball's fouled, so he has 5 home runs over a stretch of 2 games. They're still playing Boston 8, Baltimore 8 in the 6th inning at Baltimore. And Betts now has 14 long balls. David Ortiz hit his 15.
One team in the American League is averaging over 5 runs a game. That's the Red Sox. They're averaging almost 6 runs a game.
Ground ball third, Valbuena. Retiring Owings on a good stretch by Marlin. 1 out. He just adapts so well to playing the different positions.
We saw him in left field in that, I believe it was the Arizona series. The days are kind of ganging up on me right now. Could have been Anaheim, but he made a great throw from the left field corner on into second base. Almost got a key out. That was on the Pujols ball.
Yeah.
So it was Anaheim. Almost ended the ball game.
Yep. It was in the 13th inning Sunday. You're right. Yasmani Tomas with strike 1 is up for the 2nd time. He struck out earlier. So Betts now has hit 5 homers in 2 games. Not only that, but he's the first leadoff hitter in history to hit 5 homers over 2 games. And he's hit homers in the first 2 innings in consecutive games. The first player in Major League history to do that. That speaks to that robust Boston lineup you talked about. Averaging almost 6 runs, you said.
5.92 at the start of play today.
That's almost 6. Line drive into center. A hit for Tomas.
But you know what, I have to retract though. Seattle has pushed things upward offensively. They're at just about dead on 5 runs a game. So they have become a 2nd club in that category. But the Red Sox clearly the top team offensively.
Hey, they're back working again. That's Steve Berthiaume and Tom Candiotti. They're writing the video from our Root Sports telecast, but their announcers are back on the air to their normal audience in the desert of Gila monsters, right? No, just kidding.
I want to see Tom Candiotti and Steve Sparks get together and have a little friendly game of knuckleball catch.
Ooh. Put on the shin guards. Brandon Drury singled and scored in the 3rd inning. There's strike 1. Knuckleball pitchers don't play catch with each other, do they?
I'd like to think not. They should be smarter than that. Well, that's nice location for Mike Fiers.
It really is. That is just a classic place to put that pitch. Curveball gets him strike 2. Now you were talking about the close games, and you guys in '86 had a lot of those when the Astros went to the playoffs.
And again, it falls in the category I'm talking about. Because the Astros were able to win those close games, I felt like it came together and made them a tougher bunch to beat late in the season. Great pitching was no doubt the main key in that regard. But if you lose those close games through that first half, it's tough to return it.
Good block there by Gaddis, 1-2. And in looking at a game like this, with the traffic that Arizona had in the 1st inning, and then the great back-to-back catches by Gomez and Marisnik in the 3rd, a lot of winning a close game is preventing the other team from getting a big lead.
Absolutely true. A lot of having really good pitching is having great defense. And that catch by Marisnik, he moves over to left field and just makes it look like he's been there all year. Yeah, Gomez in center. That was a heck of a play.
In for ball 2. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So with the flexibility Marisnik gives A.J. Hinch and also Marwin Gonzalez, the manager's pretty well equipped to plug any number of holes. Speaking of holes, Frank is back. We better get him out of there before somebody rattles his cage again. Foul back.
Yeah, that Gomez line drive off the board would have done some damage. Although I think some damage has already been done along the way.
That wall, though, in left is potentially very unpredictable in this ballpark. Sometimes it might knock out a panel, a portion of a panel, or it might hit one of those iron bars and kick back hard toward the infield. Runner going, and the strike 3 was called, and there's a throw-out double play. So a strikeout throw-out double play as Tomas is gunned down. And Evan Gattis does it for the second time in the game. Altuve with the tag, 1-0.
Is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
1-0 Diamondbacks. There's the first pitch here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Swing and a miss by Jake Marisnick. Strike 1. He pushed a sac bunt up the first base line in the 3rd inning. Now a ground ball to shortstop. Owings. 1 out for Ray. And George Springer will follow. And Jose Altuve. Astros coming off a 4-1 road trip. Now trying to keep that going here. They've won 7 of 8. And they've scored 8 runs in each of their last 3 games. A different story tonight against Robbie Ray. Springer grounded out and he walked. It's ball 1. The Astros are 4-9 in games started by lefties this year.
Yeah, this lineup, as constituted this evening, is built to tear up left-hand pitching.
Foul ball off Chris Herman.
In the process, beat up some catchers.
Yeah. Ouch.
I really wonder. Never heard any studies. You hear all the stuff about concussions and football players getting hit, and it's all valid how it affects a player later in his life. But all these foul tips on the catcher's mask, really wonder about the long-term impact.
With good reason. Big cut by Springer. It's 1-2 to George. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Springer came into this game with a .376 on base average, .509 slugging percentage for George. And there's starting to be more talk, including from his teammate Jose Altuve, about George Springer being an all-star. He's not in the top 15 in the balloting among outfielders in the American League currently.
See those rankings we had defensively where George Springer fit in 20-something?
No.
I mean, just ludicrous stuff.
Did not see that. Strikeout number 5 here for Ray.
It's a big breaking ball that even stays up in the zone.
Altuve cracked a double to left center in the first. He walked in the 3rd inning. Jose is 1 hit away from tying Jeff Bagwell on the all-time hit list at Minute Maid Park. That would be his 457th hit. Jeff ranks 4th behind Lance Berkman, Craig Biggio, and Carlos Lee. He has moved up quickly on a lot of Astros lists with the meteoric start to his career.
He needs 100 more now to get to 1,000 in his career. And
gosh,
that's going to happen this year.
Isn't that something? 2-1.
He's 26 years of age, and he's, barring injury, he's going to be at 1,000 hits already.
Ground ball. There's another one. Off the glove of the diving Lamb. It kicks out, and Altuve's headed for second with his 2nd double of the night. That's his 20th double of the season. And he's tied Jeff Bagwell with 457 hits at Minute Maid Park for 4th on the Astros list.
I get embarrassed trying to come up with ways to talk about how good this guy is. Of really good hitters, you often hear, well, they find a way to get hits. They find holes. Really good hitters just keep putting the barrel of the bat on the ball.
Now Carlos Correa up 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Tries to come up with a big 2-out hit to tie this game. Moves back from it, and it's strike 1. Ray has been working the inside of the plate effectively on Correa tonight, as well as the outside. It's 1-1. Correa made his debut, as you know, June 8th last year. Since then, he's played 152 games. He's hit .270, 30 doubles, 30 homers, 95 runs batted in, 22 steals, and 825 OPS. Flared over first base, but foul.
Is it dangerous if I say I think he's capable of even more?
No. No, I think a lot of people, including Carlos, would agree with you.
They just don't come up from the minor leagues loaded with talent quite as strong as this guy brings.
Up for ball 2. So now at 90 pitches, Robbie Ray, nursing this 1-0 lead, has given up 3 hits. He's walked 2. He's fanned 5. Gaddis on deck. Line drive right field. In for a hit. Drury comes up throwing to the plate. Altuve will slide and safe to tie it at 1. Correa into second. That's his 28th run batted in. And a big 2-out, 2-strike delivery from Carlos Correa.
And you better be scooting between third and home plate to score on this play. Altuve was. That's a tough send down at third base, one you have to make. Carlos Correa has had his opportunities tonight to drive in runs and comes through here. And I just really appreciate the aggressive nature when men are in scoring position. And bringing that mail home, Jose Altuve.
It was very quick between third and home. just got there.
That's a strong and accurate arm from right field.
Yeah. And it was a perfect setup for the right fielder, Drury. Ash, he got to come in, got the perfect bounce. Moving in toward the plate, made a strong throw, and it did not appear from up here at first that Altuve would be able to make it.
Yeah, initially, and I haven't looked at this again, but looked like ball was in glove of right fielder possibly an instant before Altuve hit the bag at third.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of assignment on the runner coming to the plate.
He really sprinted home. Gaddis is 0 for 2. Correa taking advantage of that throw to the plate, moved into scoring position, and that could be big as ball one comes in high. So this is the other thing now, with Springer leading off, Altuve second. Just a different order, but both with exceptional speed, allowing either one of them to score on a hit like that, and it was close. Fly ball left field, that's going to get high enough to be a 2-run homer. Evan Gaddis with number 6 gives the Astros a 3-1 advantage. 16 runs batted in for Gaddis. When he catches, he hits.
Well, when he hits, he's going to play. And big man has just crushed one. Boy, tough pitch, too. You don't have to swing on this, but if you're going to hit it like that, go ahead and do it. And somebody's going to say, well, he's making sure that he swings at nothing but good pitches. He certainly made a good swing.
Marlon Gonzalez line to under right field. Drury will not be able to catch that one on the fly. That's 4 straight 2-out hits for the Astros.
I like watching home runs better, Bronny.
You know, he and Altuve both hit balls about ankle high in this inning for extra bases.
No rule against it.
Quite a 2-out rally. Now it's Valbuena batting.
You know, when you start to believe in yourselves as a team that you're going to drive in the big runs, you'll hit some pitches out of the zone.
Valbuena has grounded twice to the second baseman Segura. And now Marwin attracts the throw. Bullpen has gotten busy for Arizona. .421-foot homer by Gaddis. And Jake Barrett, a right-hander, is warming up. Foul tip, and Valbuena's behind 0-1. Among the many improvements since Evan Gaddis came back is the hitting by Astros catchers, because Jason Castro also has picked it up here the last couple of weeks. 1-1.
These are pretty good numbers. Opponents through the lineup first time through hitting just 184 against Robbie Ray, and then the numbers, they don't just edge upward, they scream upward.
Valbuena falls behind 1-2. Gaddis caught for the first time in Chicago against the White Sox. He went 2 for 3 with a homer. In his second game he caught here against Baltimore, he was 2 for 4 with a homer, 2 runs batted in. He got 2 hits in Anaheim in his third start as a catcher, 2 for 6. In his fourth start, 0 for 4 but with an RBI. So in all 5 of his starts he has had big games at the plate. Gomez on deck. 6 hits for Houston now to 4 for Arizona. Runner going. No throw.
Paul Goldschmidt on this play was sprinting across from first to third, because with the shift on, nobody's playing defensively. Watch Goldschmidt, and it kind of comes about this point, but now he will come sprinting across the field. Just a heads-up player.
Yes, he is. Such a good player.
Now, Marwin didn't even take note that there was nobody at third base, but Goldschmidt certainly did.
6th stolen base for Marwin Gonzalez. 2 steals for the Astros tonight. Valbuena's down on strikes, but what a 2-out rally. Altuve double, Correa RBI single to tie it, and then Gaddis breaks the 1-1 tie with a 2-run homer, 3-1 Houston.
The bottom of the 5th, and we have a winner in our Chevy Stroh poll, who is the Astros' biggest NL rival, and overwhelmingly, it's the St. Louis Cardinals with 70%. Old habits die hard, I guess, guys.
Yeah.
Still that NL Central rivalry.
And they'll have that rivalry alive again this year. There's ball 1 to Gene Segura. Segura has a walk and a single. 3-1 Astros now as the 6th inning opens for Mike Fiers.
You know, talk about old habits dying in difficult fashion, maybe. For me, when I heard the question, I reflected back to playing days and Cincinnati and the Dodgers as great rivals.
I think the Dodger Astro rivalry was very big.
It was.
Back in your day, Ash. Probably bigger than the Reds Astros. Towering pop, headed for the roof. Altuve handles it. He always wants those tough pop-ups and calls off the other guys.
Valbuena looked despondent when he had to leave the area.
He was not happy. He was underneath it, but he knew. Just kidding. You know, you get out of Altuve's way.
The captain has come.
When he wants it, it's his.
He is not officially the captain, by the way, but he plays the game that way.
Michael Bourne walked, and then he hit a deep drive to center field, robbed by Gomez up against the padding in left center. Crushed that ball. And strike 1 to Michael. Always good to see him back in his hometown, where he went to Nimitz High School and the University of Houston and excelled as an Astro. He was an all-star with the Astros and a Gold Glove winner. Just a terrific player with Houston. He had to work to find a job this year, though.
Yeah, he may have found one now, though, where he'll play every day.
I think you're right. He's been with both Atlanta and Toronto this year.
Getting out of Atlanta early on might have been a good career move.
That's going to be a tough season, isn't it? 1-2. And Bourne did not like that one at all from Sean Barber.
Well, let's find out why. It's up there pretty good.
Curveball, punch foul. Now Michael is still moving well. You know, you tend to question maybe his hamstrings after watching him the last couple of years, and What has that done to his speed? Has it slowed him down a little bit? Yeah. Based on what we've seen the last couple of nights, not really.
Not defensively from what we've seen.
No. Off-speed pitch gets a strikeout. That's number 6.
Well, that splitter can be so effective for Mike Fiers. I would not abandon that pitch at any point. This one is just gutted, and yet the speed taken off of the pitch as it comes out with that split finger grip just leaves the hitter out in front.
Paul Goldschmidt has singled, and he's been robbed by the diving Marisnik catch in left field. One of the big plays in this game. Strike. A lot of fans like to keep a scorecard, and one reason they like to do it is that they can look back at the end of the game and say, well, what were the key plays? What's the key moment in this game? That play by Marisnik back to back with the play on Bourne by Gomez could be the turning point, because it was 1-0 at the time, and who knows what the score might have been had Bourne and Goldschmidt both gotten hits in that inning.
Oftentimes defensive plays will be that key, and yet you look at a box score, you can't tell. It doesn't show up.
In the first inning, Gaddis threw out Segura trying to steal, and Gomez threw out Bourne trying to go first to third. That could have been a big inning for Arizona.
If any of those fans happen to be really good at keeping score, I could use some help. Now, was this a strike? It certainly was. He giveth and taketh away, doesn't he?
Always. 2-2.
By the way, I led some fans to question about, do the Astros have a captain? No, they don't.
No. I think very few teams have captains. That's more of a football thing.
Derek Jeter is gone.
Yeah. Oh, 3-2 on Goldschmidt.
Why do they need captains on football teams? So they have somebody to send out there for the coin flip?
Yeah, there's no coin flip in baseball. Inside. Goldschmidt does know the strike zone extremely well. Oh, that's strike 3. Fiers has it going with a split finger pitch tonight. Goldschmidt didn't think so from Sean Barber, but the Astros lead it 3-1. There on the bench, and he did his job against the Diamondbacks a few days ago. He talks with Mike Fiers right now as the reliever comes in. Barrett, Jake Barrett on the mound, and his first pitch is strike 1. Carlos Gomez spinning on that one. Gomez 1 for 2, a single, and then he stole a base in the 4th inning. Robbie Ray checks out after 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 3 runs, walking 2, fanning 6. Showing bunt, Gomez takes it in the dirt, and it's 1-1. Jake Barrett, in his last 12 games, has a 0.87 ERA, and 19 2/3 innings. It's 2.29 for the season for Jake.
Maybe nothing surprising as he's been averaging about 95 miles an hour with his heater.
That's a good number. Grounded foul. Now Ken Giles is warming up for Houston. It's 1-2.
You know, people will ask, what's the velocity of an average major league fastball? And I think the tendency is to say, oh, around 90, 91 miles an hour. It's 92 miles an hour these days with all these great bullpen arms.
And there are a ton of them. Gomez strikes out. Brendan?
Thanks, Brownie. It's time for Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. And tonight, our Astro, lettered in football, baseball, and track in high school, played for 9 MLB teams and was traded for a player with the same last name. Now I'm going to look, and I'm sure there's already right answers on my phone from fans all over Houston. Back to you guys.
Tyler White's the batter. White is 0 for 2. He reached on an error. Slider for ball 1. From 24-year-old Jake Barrett of Upland, California, who went to Arizona State. Last year he pitched at Reno and Mobile. Had 11 saves at Reno, AAA club for Arizona. Second baseman Segura takes care of out number 2. In Robbie Ray's 5 innings, he threw 99 pitches, 58 were strikes, and what the Astros did was really work that pitch count on him. Even though they didn't score in the first 4 innings, they were in that count.
Yeah, a lot of times in getting to the bullpen, you're getting to bigger arms, but in the case of Robbie Ray, he's bringing that bullpen stuff right from the get-go.
True. Marisnik is 0 for 1 with a sac bunt. This Arizona bullpen has had a working over from the Astros. That's in for strike 1. An off-speed pitch moving back in toward the hitter.
Front door style. Although it just runs back to that inside portion at the end.
Fly ball right field toward the corner. Drury over toward the line now for the 3rd out. Go to the 7th inning. The Astros lead at 3-1.
Astros lead over the Diamondbacks. Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile, as we look at what's going on around major leagues, the major leagues. Jake Arrieta, I mean, just off the charts what he's been doing with the Cubs. Felix Hernandez is on the DL now. youngster with the Dodgers, Julio Urias, recalled today, will start against the Cubs. And Miguel Sano, 15-day DL hamstring. So we got some leg issues going on. That's big for Seattle. The Astros battling to regain some ground on Seattle as Felix Hernandez is down, as the Astros go to the bullpen.
And it's Ken Giles coming in, 0-2 in 25 games with a 6.33 ERA. In May, though, his ERA was 3.97. He had a number of effective appearances, and he's done well against Arizona in his career.
Yeah, much, much better, Brownie, in the month of May for Ken Giles, and may that trend continue.
Mike Fiers went 6 innings, allowing 4 hits and 1 run, walking 2, fanning 7. He threw 99 pitches, 57 for strikes. It's Jake Lamb stepping up, 0 for 2. Infield shifted around. Daniel Hudson warming up for Arizona. There's strike 1. Ricky Weeks on deck. Chris Herman due up 3rd in the inning. The Diamondbacks used 4 relievers Monday night and 5 yesterday. No balls, 2 strikes.
Which is about when guys start hiding when the phone rings. Yeah, that's a filthy looking slider.
It's a Brad Lidge type
It is.
slider.
Exactly.
Brad Lidge has helped him with that pitch, with the grip of it. He gets a punch out, and he throws it at different speeds, Ash.
Yeah, he'll take a little more off than Brad typically did. But when you glance through some of the numbers for Ken Giles previous seasons last year, his strikeout per 9 innings rate is, it makes you just double take. I need to pull those numbers in front of me again.
Now it's Weeks, 0 for 2. And Gaddis made a nice play on his little tap in front of the plate back in the 4th inning.
Ken Giles' lifetime, almost 12 strikeouts per 9.
All 1 to Weeks.
It's that big kid in Little League.
Yeah. That big 6'2" kid, and you're about 5'1", and you weigh about 140 pounds. It's not fun facing a guy like that.
When there is plenty of crying in baseball.
For a strike. 1-1. 97 miles per hour in on the hands. Giles got a blown save in his last outing Sunday in the 13-inning win in Anaheim. Gave up 2 runs in 1 inning. Came in with a 4-3 lead in the 7th. He gets a lunging swing, and it's 1-2.
Brownie, I didn't think I'd be saying this tonight after walks to the first 2 hitters as you look at that slider once again, but really nice night for Mike Fiers. Walking those first 2 hitters tonight, got some defense to help him out, and when it's all said and done, he found the curveball. The splitter was friendly for him, and the fastball was effective.
It was effective. He spotted it well. Checked his swing. The appeal went to Ron Kulpa. It's 2-2. The last 3 home starts for Mike Fiers: 7 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1 run.
Look at the Oso Blanco jumping on it. Keenly aware that with 2 strikes, you cannot let that thing get by.
Well, he's going to fight it tooth and nail.
He does.
Hit to right field. Springer over toward the line, and that's looping in front of him for a hit. And now an off-balance throw to second, and Correa with a tag. He got him. He got Weeks at second base with an off-balance throw. Looks like it'll be appealed.
Boy, was that tough for George. But ooh, wow. Let's see right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're gone. And the Diamondbacks got word down in their dugout.
Good job by Correa on the 6th outfield assist for Springer.
About that 28th ranked defensive outfielder, George Springer.
He's doing the ranking.
I think that was the number on him. Yeah, those are the numbers that are being put out there for the value of guys defensively.
2 outfield assists for the Astros tonight. Herman was strike 1 in the count. Looks at that one. Now it's 0-2. Herman 0 for 2 tonight. And Mike Fiers really did well tonight. And the Astros played hard behind him. And now it continues with Giles out there. Quite a throw by Springer. Amazing he could get anything on that. And now a punch out for Giles. Hands it in the top of the 7th. No runs a hit, nobody left. 3-1 Astros. Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Toyota, let's go places. Astros hoping to go for win number 5 in a row tonight. They lead at 3-1 over the Diamondbacks. Houston coming up at the bottom of the 7th inning. And pitcher number 3 is on the mound for Arizona. Right-hander Daniel Hudson. Hudson has been an amazing story, coming back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. And he went 799 days between major league appearances, coming back in 2014. Then last year he pitched 64 games. Now he sports a 1.31 ERA. He is a modern medical marvel after those 2 Tommy John surgeries. He's throwing in the mid-90s, Ash.
It's amazing what these guys do. How do you get through a first surgery like that, all the high hopes, and have it crater on you and say, yeah, I'll do it again? And have to hand it to these guys that even do it one time.
Oh, Hudson still not that old at 29. Will face the top of the order. George Springer's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Astros have out hit the D-backs 6-4. Arizona's made the only error. Houston has stranded 6. Arizona has left 2. Springer on a 4-game hitting streak, trying to extend it right here. Inside for Hudson. Hudson's story is featured in that new book, The Arm, which is a fantastic book about pitchers and Tommy John surgeries. Right-handers are 2 for 34 against him this year. Line drive right field. Hit deep. Drury back. Drury diving. Springer is heading for second base. That ball bounces into the seats for a double. 5-game hitting streak for Springer. That's his 10th double.
Right-hand hitters now have 3 hits against Hudson this year. It looked like Drury might have stumbled just a little bit tracking this baseball. Maybe caught a cleat in the ground. But this is what George did so well yesterday, again, driving the ball the other way. And maybe just stutter stepping. That may be all that took place. That's all that was needed for George.
And George is aboard for Altuve. Altuve has 2 doubles. Now he is at 457, tied with Jeff Bagwell for 4th. And Astros hit leaders at Minute Maid Park. Ball 1. Altuve has been on all 3 times tonight. 2 doubles and a walk. He's now walked 27 times. He has struck out 22 times, and just a fantastic year for Jose Altuve. Leading in the All-Star balloting at second base, but he could use some more votes. He has some serious competition at that position this year. In for a strike, 1-1, but it speaks well that the fans now around baseball recognize his talent.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, this is not about, voting for the little guy. This is voting for a guy that has earned every bit of it.
Hasn't he, though? That's a tough change-up in there. 22,642 the paid attendance. Quite a pitch for Hudson. Hudson is the longest tenured member of the D-backs. And you see the life he still has even after the 2 Tommy John surgeries on his fastball. He's only the 4th pitcher to have Tommy John in 2 consecutive years who has returned to the majors.
Yeah, it's bad when the doctor who does the Tommy John surgeries starts recognizing his patients coming back.
Yeah. Exactly. They don't want to see those patients again. No repeat customers, please. Go on about your life. Tap the shortstop. Owings. And that's part of what that book, The Arm, is all about, is preventing these surgeries.
That ground ball, by the way, right there, was a duplicate of the first inning yesterday when Springer had doubled. There was a ground ball to shortstop, and George took off, and the ball hit the heel of Springer as he was moving toward third. It resulted in a base hit for Altuve, but an out for the Astros and a trading of spots on the bags. But yeah, rather unique to have that come right up, and George apparently a quick learner.
And that is the scoring rule. If the base runner is hit by a batted ball, it's a hit. Carlos Correa 1 for 3. That big RBI single with 2 outs in the 5th inning. And what a huge hit it was at the time. The Astros trailed 1-0. He had a 3-2 count with 2 outs, and he drove in Altuve, who did a fantastic job of getting around the catcher Herman. And Gaddis followed with a 2-run homer to make it 3-1. Will Harris has been working in the Astros bullpen. That comes in hard at 95 on the inside corner for an 0-2 count.
Man, this is good stuff. I don't care how many scars he's got on his right arm. It is a very good looking arm.
This guy really can get it in there. Some high octane late life, as our buddy Mike Krukow would say. Zach Curtis warming up for Arizona. 1-2.
Well, that looked pretty close.
Curtis, the lefty.
Here's that last pitch taken by Carlos, and it just seems that he's taking far more pitches, especially with a couple of strikes, way too close, and that was well within close.
2-2. Diamondbacks, who have played so well on the road, are 6-2 in road series openers. Their road ERA 3.86 gives them a chance to win. Struck him out. 2 down. 8th punch out for Arizona pitching. Our delivery of the game is delivered to you by Jimmy Johns. Evan Gaddis snapped the 1-1 tie.
Chicks and all the rest of us dig the long ball, and this one comes into play handily tonight. Big smile from Oso.
5th start at catcher this season for Evan Gattis. 1 for 3 tonight.
Throwing the ball really well.
He is. And it just gives Jason Castro a rest. Especially nice with the day game coming tomorrow after the night game.
Well, and then you face that tough left-hander. And I think it's a golden opportunity to have Gattis back there when you have the confidence that he can get the job done defensively.
He has worked long and hard to get there after not doing any catching last season.
Now, that said, Jason Castro had a big couple of swings against a lefty in the last week.
That gets by Herman. Springer to third base. Should be a wild pitch. But we'll see.
Yeah, having attempted to make this play, you see a little bit of that cutter spin when that right-hander yanks it out there like that. It's just tough to get the glove to the ball when a guy throws this hard.
Yes, it is a wild pitch. 2nd of the year for Hudson. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Little chop. Herman with the throw. No runs, a hit, a runner stranded at third. 3-1 Houston. Lead it, and they'll be calling in Will Harris for the 8th inning. He is on a long run of great outings. 22 1/3 straight shutout innings over 22 games.
It's been amazing. Go back to April 7th, the first outing of the year for Will Harris. He allowed a run to the New York Yankees and looked like, well, maybe things won't be as strong for Will this year as they went last year. Not a chance. He hasn't allowed another run since. Just phenomenal stuff out of the pen.
Now with a 2-run lead here and the bottom of the order coming up against him in the 8th inning. In 23 games, his ERA is 0.38. His whip is 0.76. Hard to get much better than that. Chris Owens leads it off. He's 0 for 2. For Ken Giles, he earned his 10th hold of the year with 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And strike 1 to Owens. Giles threw 11 pitches, 9 of them were strikes. So that could keep him in play for tomorrow afternoon's game. Harris breaks it in for a strike. That makes it 0-2 for Will. was with Arizona when the Astros claimed him on waivers after the 2014 season. He had pitched 29 times that year for Arizona with an 0-3 record, a 4.34 ERA. Struck him out. Brandon.
Thanks, guys. And after another Will Harris out, it's time to name that Astro, presented by your local Honda dealer. And the clues were lettered in football, baseball, and track in high school, played for 9 MLB teams, and he was traded for a player with the same last name. Answer? Carl Everett. Did you guys have that one? I know we had a lot of people on Twitterverse that had that immediately.
That's how we had it. We read their answers on Twitter.
That's always a good way to go.
Well, they always know more than we do about that. That was Manny Tomas with strike one. Tomas singled in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2.
I was trying to come up with another Ashby that was really good in track and field.
How about Andy Ashby?
Yeah, Andy had the good right arm, but not sure he was. Well, he's probably faster than me, so we'll end the story there.
1-1. Hey, we never had that foot race, did we?
No, and
pretty good chance.
Pretty good chance we'll keep it that way.
It's not going to happen. 1-2. Not unless they want a couple of broadcasters on the disabled list for the rest of the year.
I'm on the DL. It just doesn't matter.
Bowling, maybe?
Well, George has got an opening for you tomorrow.
Okay, let's go for it. In the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's a great event. George Springer is hosting tomorrow night downtown Houston. We hope the turnout will be fantastic for it at 7 o'clock at the Lucky Strike Bowling Alley on San Jacinto.
I hear you almost came up with a hole-in-one the other day.
Just about. But a lot of people say that, right?
I hope that doesn't mean you hit the green.
Well, that rarely happens. But how many holes in one have you had?
1, and I was playing with Yogi Berra when it happened.
Oh yeah.
So how about that for a story?
How many do you think he had? He had to. He was always around great things when they happened.
With his good fortune, I have a feeling he had about 13 of them.
Bouncer, Altuve. Over to Marlon Gonzalez, 2 outs.
Spend your afternoon in Keuchel's Corner tomorrow, presented by Houston Methodist, and support Dallas Keuchel in the process. With this package, you get a ticket, beard, and a Keuchel's Corner t-shirt. For more information, visit astros.com/Keuchel's Corner or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. It's all it takes to get a beard.
Is that quick, huh?
Tried for years and years.
Yeah. Brandon Drury, 1 for 2. Well, you've seen pictures of the old House of David barnstorming baseball team. They all had the long beards.
Yeah, could those guys really play, or did they just have beards and say, come on, put a uniform on?
They just walked around with beards. They didn't play. Bearded baseball uniform guys, and they didn't have to play.
Sounds like one of those beer commercials some years back. I don't recall how you put it, but bearded uniform baseball guys.
There's Curtis in the bullpen still. Well, we have a question from Mike Nigerian on Twitter from earlier tonight. What's the deal with Arizona's unis? Did they lose a bet? Okay, Mike. No, they didn't. They changed uniforms obviously this year. 2-1.
Well, they change uniforms daily, don't they?
Pretty much. And yeah, they have so many varieties. We've seen the gray pants like these and the gray tops. Maybe we'll see those tomorrow.
They are the Oregon Ducks of the National League.
A lot of different unique combinations. These are new. 2-2. Harris just puts those pitches in a great spot, doesn't he?
Little tiny cut action. Think of Mariano Rivera and that larger cutter. This just comes naturally for Will Harris. Natural cut action. And like you say, great location on top of it.
In the dirt, it's 3-2. Harris ranks first among American League relievers in ERA, second among Major League relievers.
Somebody's better.
Yeah, I don't know who. We'll have to check on that. He's given up 14 hits, all of them singles. And he has the club record for most consecutive games without giving up an extra base hit to start a season. Batting average against him is low. Slugging percentage 165. Correa backhands. Long throw to first. 1-2-3 eighth inning for Harris. 3-1 Astros.
Here at Minute Maid Park. Follow the Astros all season long with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Keep an eye on box scores and highlights even while you're at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Astros looking to keep it up the rest of the way after Will Harris again is unhittable. How amazing has he been, guys?
I think we're running out of superlatives because he's been locked in for so long now, and he just continues to do what he did tonight. And he had a 1-2-3 inning tonight. 15 pitches, 9 were strikes. So now as he talks on the bench, it's Luke Gregerson getting ready as the Astros come up looking for insurance against lefty Zach Curtis. He has a Major League ERA of 0 for 8 1/3 innings in 10 games as a rookie left-hander. 23 years old from Panama City Beach, Florida. He went to Middle Tennessee. Marwin Gonzalez is 1 for 3. Slider comes in for strike 1.
By the way, Fernando Rodney in 19 games this year, 19 innings, has a 0 ERA. So that is the reason Will Harris is second in that regard. But Will Harris now 23 straight scoreless.
And that's in the top 5 in Astros history. Flared back for strike 2, no balls, 2 strikes. Dave Smith had the longest scoreless inning streak since 1974 by an Astro reliever, 27 2/3. Will's now at 23 1/3. He's just passed Mike Cosgrove, and he's tied Billy Wagner for the 3rd longest consecutive scoreless inning streak by a reliever. Joe Sambito is right behind Dave Smith. Joe had a streak of 26 2/3, and Smitty, as we said, 27 2/3.
1987, I think, on that Dave Smith stat. And he had quite a season going.
He really did. That one hit him on the 0-2 pitch. Marwin Gonzalez walked slowly to first base.
Looked like a pitcher charging the plate to say, what, you're going to let guys get on base just because we hit them?
He hit him.
Might have been just a graze job. Yeah, a little, not quite a shin burger.
Now Valbuena is 0 for 3. An extra run here could really play into things for the Astros, up by 2. Warming up Gregerson. Gregerson pitched in yesterday's game to nail down the 8-5 win for his 13th save. He was up and working, now taking a little break, it appears. Valbuena around to bunt, and he fouls it for strike 1. And Gomez is on deck. Nobody else warming up for Arizona. There's Gregerson now.
I'm wondering if that was Valbuena bunting on his own.
Possibly. Tough left-hander on the mound.
Yeah, that certainly factors in. Of course, AJ would have had the same feeling as well.
Sometimes the manager and the hitter talk about it, but there's no real sign given. They talked about it on the bench or something. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So the bunt on the first strike, and then you take it away either way, whether it's manager or hitter, and hope to get a fastball through the heart of the plate.
Well, if he can put it down anywhere past the pitcher, he has a hit. The way Arizona is shifting with Lamb halfway between second and third almost. Gonzalez drawing a throw there. Zach Curtis pitched in the Monday game. 1 hitless inning against the Astros. Valbuena takes ball 2. Now Brad Ziegler gets up for Arizona. He is their closer. Pitched in a few days.
The Astros would like to keep him in the reclined position too.
Wouldn't normally be a time when he would be coming into this game. Three and 1, but the bullpen is under duress here for Arizona down through this stretch of games. The D-backs have lost 13 of 19.
It's nothing but right-hand hitters coming up after Valbuena, and I wonder if Chip Hale is thinking in that regard.
Could very well be. He has Zach Greinke going tomorrow, and that's a comforting thought for Chip Hale. Valbuena walks. 2 men on now with nobody out for Gomez.
Sacrifice bunt not needed.
Yeah. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, heads for the hill. Gomez 1 for 3, then White, then Marisnik, as you indicated, 3 right-handed hitters.
You know what occurs to me right here is with Gomez coming to the plate, the numbers obviously indicate he's had his struggles. If he's thinking about bunt and you've got a left-hand pitcher on the mound, that maximizes your chance to get the out at third base. Sets up real nicely for the pitcher. So he becomes a key defender on this particular play if that's what the Astros are attempting to do. And I think that might be leading to the lefty staying in the ball game here.
Gomez drilled a 4th inning single off the scoreboard while in left. Then he stole second base.
The Diamondbacks are obviously intent on stopping a bunt if it comes their way.
Corner infielders are in tight. Gomez showing no signs of bunting, takes ball 1.
It does make it tough when you don't get the call. And in this case, Carlos Gomez gets the call leaning his way.
Out to center field. Michael Bourne with a backpedaling play. Here's the tag at second. Marwin Gonzalez will go to third base on out number 1. Pretty well hit ball by Gomez.
Yeah, this is a vastly improved looking game for Carlos Gomez. In multiple respects, the offensive side looks a whole lot better. His fly out earned a little bit of a bat flip.
His bat does look a bit quicker tonight than earlier this year.
A really good defensive play.
And the thing he did was get Gonzalez over to third base. There's one out in the inning. That could be meaningful. Chip Hale will go to the bullpen now and call in Ziegler. Curtis will leave after 1/3 of an inning. And we'll be right back with the score 3-1 Houston. .642. Watching the Astros try to work for more room for the 9th inning. Brad Ziegler, the closer for Arizona, comes in. He's 1-2, 9 for 9 in saves and a 3.54 ERA.
Yeah, the numbers indicate that he has not been locked down. That 3.5 ERA, one of those numbers you look at. The whip is up over 1.5. In fact, over 1.6 runners per inning. He's walked about 4.5 men per 9 innings. Strikeouts are down. Well, maybe a guy you can go after. Make sure you pick up at least one insurance run here in the 8th.
Now Tony Kemp is going to be the pinch hitter for Tyler White to give the Astros a left-handed bat with some speed, who could be able to beat out a double play ball, and that is the specialty of Brad Ziegler. Ziegler is first in double play balls with 6 among National League relievers. And the infield closes in tight now with the runner at third, Gonzalez, representing a big run. Fly ball out to left field. That'll get him home. Tomas backing with the catch. And it's 4-1 on the sacrifice fly by the pinch hitter Tony Kemp.
The insurance was easily purchased right there for Tony Kemp.
First major league RBI. A very big one and a pinch hit roll for Tony.
That's getting it done. Going up there, finding a fastball early in the count to drive. That was a really nice insertion by AJ, because Tony Kemp gave you the best chance to stay out of the double play.
Jake Marisnick. Pat Neshek now has begun to warm up for the Astros. Marisnick is 0 for 2 with a sack. So with the 4-1 lead, there's Luke Gregerson, and it might just be that Luke will be held back. the day game coming tomorrow. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. But back to the contact hitting here in this inning. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Gomez hit the fly ball backing up Michael Bourne for out number 1, and that allowed Gonzalez to tag and go to third from where he scored on the sac fly by Kemp.
You know, it's really the question that a lot of people ask. Do the strikeouts really hurt? Well, in certain situations, they definitely hurt. There are times when making contact is all you need to score runs.
Well, for instance, the Astros have scored a run without a hit in this inning.
Yeah, you mix in the hit batter and a walk, a sac fly, a move up on the fly ball you talk about.
They have 4 runs on 7 hits tonight. It's pretty good production for 7 hits. Marisnick fouls it. 2-2.
You'd love to see the team really pick it up consistently on the offensive side. But when you can win ball games while not scoring a lot of runs, it is a huge plus.
A.J. Hinch's club hoping to walk off the field with a 5-game winning streak and a 25-29 record. Ziegler over, and he tosses over to Goldschmidt. The Astros manufacture a run on no hits and leave a man. We move to the 9th, 4-1 Houston. Take a look at some big plays here. Here's Evan Gattis throwing out a runner trying to steal in the first inning. Gene Segura, and then Carlos Gomez gets Michael Bourne trying to go first to third on a single by Paul Goldschmidt. Great catch at the wall there in the 3rd inning on Bourne, and then Marisnick on Goldschmidt. Now a little tap, and Evan Gattis sliding from behind the plate. Makes that play on Tomas. And then a caught stealing on Tomas. And George Springer, the 2nd outfield assist of the night. Good tag there by Correa.
Well, that's a big night of defense, isn't it? When it's all said and done, a nice night of pitching for Mike Fiers and company.
And now it comes down to Luke Gregerson with a 3-run lead. Save situation. He's 13 for 16 in saves. Last 7 games, 5 for 5 in saves. And Gregerson did close out the 8-5 win yesterday with a hitless inning, striking out all 3 men he faced. There's strike 1 to Gene Segura. Segura is 1 for 2. Back to that on the highlights, that was Gattis making that play on Weeks on that tap in front of the plate, not Tomas. He threw out Tomas trying to steal. As you and Blummer pointed out yesterday, when Gregerson came in after the first 3 men had reached, that was the first time he had come in with a man on base all year, and he struck out Bourne, Goldschmidt, and Lamb to get his 13th save.
Yeah, I noticed one of the questions on Twitter about closers, why not come in for the 8th inning? And I think it really comes down to the nature of the game anymore. It's determined that it's best for any pitcher, closer or otherwise, to be able to repeat, come back tomorrow and maybe the next day if you don't go more than 1 inning in a ball game. Therefore, closers pitch the 9th inning. And the setup men, 7th and 8th, that sort of thing.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Segura. Well, A.J. Hinch is not averse to using his closer in the 8th inning.
It happens. There are times when that's your most valuable spot. But when he does, more often than not, you're not going to see that guy come back out for the 9th.
True. Oh, it hit him on the hand. And Segura is hit by the pitch to lead off the 9th inning.
Fastball just runs in. And oh, you hate to see that happen right here. Hand or knob? That is all knob to me.
Sure looked like it on that replay.
Is all knob.
The Academy is voting an award for Segura.
Yeah. I'm going knob. Are you a voting member of the Academy?
Yes, and I think we're going to give him the award right here and now. The second hit batsman of the year by Gregerson. He really pulled it off. Michael Bourne is 0 for 2 with a walk. And a lot of times, as you well know, the umpires go by the sound.
You know, when you start talking bone versus knob of bat, it's really tough to tell up there.
Michael Bourne with strike 1. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. But hey, let's face it, give Segura credit for his acting skills with a 2-2 count.
Been training with one of those impressive companies for years.
Got to be exasperating for the pitcher, though. 0-2.
Is it ever? You usually don't know until you see the highlights later.
Goldschmidt's on deck, so this could get dicey quickly. Good stop there by Gaddis.
Pitch came close to picking off a piece of Bourne.
Had the 8th inning run not scored, and it's a 3-1 game. Now the leadoff man reaching, and Goldschmidt due up 3rd in the inning. It is getting a little more interesting, in fact. Bourne chops one slowly, and it goes foul. See that little play similar to that one we just saw on the foul ball. There was a ball in the Cleveland game involving Frankie Lindor, and the bat hit him on both legs as he was going up the line. He dropped the bat, and then it bounced up, and he kicked it with both feet as he was running.
Emulating some sort of soccer move.
Line drive into right field, and now it's a full-fledged rally for Arizona. Bourne has extra bases. Here's the go-ahead from Matt Williams for Segura to score. Altuve will not make a throw, and it's 4-2 on the RBI double by Bourne.
And instantly it brings the tying man to the plate. Yeah, that hitting of the first batter, or whatever it was, costly. Michael Bourne continues to look very solid.
That's his 3rd double as a member of the D-backs, and He's at second with nobody out and the potential tying run at the plate in Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt 1 for 3.
Run in the 8th inning for the Astros looks really big right now.
Slider, strike 1 to Goldschmidt.
By the way, I was watching Matt Williams, his coaching job down at third base. Big fella's still looking pretty nimble.
Yes, he is. Looks like he's in good shape. Goldschmidt struck out yesterday against Gregerson with an 8-5 lead in the 9th inning. Oh, 2.
I think Paul Goldschmidt was guessing slider right there. He was quite tardy.
Sure looked that way. Pat Neshek again is warming up for Houston.
That's a guy that'll hit home runs to right field quite easily, but that swing looked like kind of one of those blindfolded swings. See if you can hit this with a blindfold on.
Goldie had 3 hits in yesterday's game. One and 2. His plate discipline, though, makes him a very difficult hitter at all times.
Oh, he's good. We talked earlier about him being among the best in the major leagues, and he is.
Even though he was born in Wilmington, Delaware, he got to Houston quickly. He started the bat, but checked it. 2 and 2. He was on that 5A state championship team along with Kyle Drabek at the Woodlands in 06. Drafted in the 8th round in 09 after going to Texas State.
I got to see Kyle Drabek early on when he came to the big leagues in Toronto, and I thought he was going to be a star, and it just has not gone that
Big
way.
one coming here on 2-2. Bourne with a good lead. Line drive caught by Marwin Gonzalez. That ball was blistered.
Nothing wrong with catching a break, and that's a big one. This is what Goldschmidt does so well. One of the things. He can sting it the other way.
Oh, he hammered that ball. That's one hard hit out. Jake Lamb comes up. Lamb is 0 for 3. Ricky Weeks on deck. Lamb's hit 8 homers this year. Fly ball out deep to right center field. Springer's out of room. He's at the wall. That one is going to tie it. It's a 4-4 game as Lamb goes deep with number 9 of the year. 30 runs batted in for Jake Lamb, and Arizona is back to a 4-4 tie.
Boy, that's painful. The slider. And hitters will look for that pitch. It is the key pitch for Luke Gregerson. And in this case, Lamb got the pitch he was looking for.
That's going to be it for Gregerson. It's his 4th blown save in 17 opportunities. And Pat Neshek is coming in. Weeks will be the batter in a 4-4 game with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. We'll be right back. Pat Neshek is pitcher number 5 for A.J. Hinch. With 1 out in the 9th inning after the tying 2-run homer by Jake Lamb. Pat Neshek is 2-0 with a 3.31 ERA and an 0.92 whip.
It's quite a turnaround from month to month.
Ricky Weeks is 1 for 3. Neshek has gotten himself into a good groove this month. There's strike 1. For Luke Gregerson, it's 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs allowed, no walks, no strikeouts. He had a hit batter who scored. So a disappointing night for him. 16 pitches. Foul back, 0-2. Chris Herman's on deck, and that's a difficult position. Luke Gregerson coming in with the 3-run lead, giving up 3 runs and getting the 1 out on a very hard hit ball. He had a 2-2 count on Segura when he hit him with a pitch, and that's what started the trouble. But Michael Bourne's ball was scalded, Goldschmidt's ball was hammered and caught, and then Lamb drilled one into the bullpen in right center field. So Arizona really hitting the ball hard here in the 9th inning to come from behind and tie it. Neshek pitched in 2 of the games in Anaheim, effectively in both of them over the weekend. Grounded foul there. And the Astros try to regroup and win it now in the bottom of the 9th inning when they will have the top of the order due up. Ziegler's in the game for Arizona, their closer. Each club with 4 runs on 7 hits right now. Arizona has the only error in the game. D-backs have stranded 2. The Astros have left 8. Up for a ball and makes it 1-2. Neshek worked out of a bases loaded jam in the 11th inning Sunday at Anaheim. Runs that one in on his hands and gets a foul ball from Weeks. That was a game the Astros won in the 13th, 8-6. Slider away, makes it 2-2. The Astros are 22-1 when they lead after 8 innings. Fly ball. Gomez hustles in for it. It's dropping into shallow center for a hit. Weeks is aboard with a pop fly single. Now it's Herman, who's 0 for 3.
It's really easy as an outfielder to take a step back on a ball hit in the air like this, and I don't know if that was the case for Carlos. You have to size up the swing, and that was not a big swing by Ricky Weeks.
The shift is on for Herman. Valbuena at the edge of the grass. There's strike 1. Left-handed hitters do normally have more success against Neshek. But then more success would amount to a better batting average than 0.54 for right-handed batters against him. He gets a swing, and there's strike 2.
This role becomes critical right now.
Yeah, tie ball game now, and the Astros can regroup and win it in the bottom of the 9th, but they have to keep it tied. Give themselves a great shot at doing that. Now 1-2.
I wonder if Pat Neshek wanted this one. Watch his reaction.
A little bit. He kind of does that sometimes, finishing up high with that right hand.
Especially when he throws the changeup. That, you know, he had finished not in that position. Then it was like, whoa, wait a minute. Where's that?
Fly ball to left for Marisnick. 2 down. And the 7th D-back to bat in the inning will be Owings. Owings is 0 for 3. This would be quite a comeback win if Arizona can get it. For a club with a 23-31 record. Trying to pull out of the doldrums.
Well, when the 4-game set ultimately started a few days ago in Arizona, the Diamondbacks were a half-game better in the standings. They're in the National League, granted, than the Astros. They have played one more game. Boy, the Astros in a great position to try to make it 3 straight over the D-backs prior to that swing by Lamb.
Near the right field line, 3 players hustling for it. Marwin Gonzalez makes the sliding attempt, but unable to catch it. That keeps Owings alive at 0-2. Altuve was slanting over from second base as well. Springer had a long way to come from right field.
Marwin had the only shot. He just doesn't get a chance to stay at one position for any length of time to get maybe more of a feel on a play like this.
You're right. Not an easy play, but sometimes not leaving the player's feet is a better way to make that catch. Just run right through it, but easy to second guess from up here.
Also maybe fear that Springer's right there.
That's another part of it. He struck him out. And in the 9th inning, Arizona ties it with 3 runs, 3 hits, and a man left. It's 4-4. Four to 1. Now they come up in the bottom of the 9th, having lost that lead, trying to snap this tie with Springer, Altuve, and Correa due up in the bottom of the 9th against the Arizona closer Brad Ziegler. Ziegler got the final 2 outs of the 8th inning, coming in with 2 men on base, one of them scoring on a pinch sac fly by Tony Kemp. Now it's Springer. Springer doubled in the 7th inning to extend his hitting streak to 5 games. He's 1 for 3 with a walk tonight.
I like this positioning in the order, Brownie.
Yeah. I have to agree with you. Slider catches the corner, and there's strike 1 for Ziegler. 35 years old, from Pratt, Kansas. He went to Southwest Missouri State. Chop to third. There's the play by Lamb, and the stretch by Goldschmidt. 1 out. Jose Altuve to follow. Altuve 2 for 3, 2 doubles and a walk. Michael Feliz is getting loose for Houston. If it goes to extra innings, we may be seeing Tyler Clippard in the bottom of the 10th. Carlos Correa is on deck. Foul ball, strike one. Ziegler has worked often that sidearm style down through the years. First came to the big leagues with Oakland in '08. He started his career with a 39-inning scoreless streak, a major league record. Inside, 1-1. He's done very well. Last year he was 30 for 32 in saves. Had been primarily a setup man. Altuve out to center field. Caught by Bourne. 2 outs. There's a Carlos Correa walk-off in the 13th, May 24th.
A single won't do it right now, but see this guy find a way here.
Ball 1 to Correa, who's 1 for 4, an RBI single in the 5th inning. And then he hit that 3-run game-winning homer in the 13th inning last Sunday. Beat the Angels.
That turned that trip around.
Well, you're right. That was the key game to decide that series. A road series win, something the Astros have not often had this year. Fly ball center field. Bourne way back. Still at the track. Leaping. And it's off the wall. Correa's hustling toward third base. Here's a throw back into the infield. And he has a triple.
How did this ball stay in the yard?
It looked like it had a good chance to get out.
I'll tell you what, he has been taking some much better swings recently in big moments. Had some men on base tonight and don't succeed all the time, but it's a big time swing right here. And somehow this stays in the yard. Get up, get up. That's what you're saying to yourself.
First triple of the year for Correa. Now it's Evan Gattis. With strike one, Gattis hit the 2-run homer in the 5th. He's 1 for 4. Second major league triple for Correa. Hit number 8 for Houston. Arizona also has 8. 0-2. I was fooled by that pitch.
Change of ploy right now. That slider is not going to be pulled easily.
Popped up. Bourne is calling for it in right center. Extra innings. No runs a hit, a runner stranded. We move to the 10th. It's tied at 4. Sports are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Well, this is something the Astros are getting used to. Extra inning ball games. They've played 7 already this year. They're 4-3. It's 4-4 now as we move to the 10th inning. Arizona is 2-2 in its 4 extra inning games. Here is pitcher number 6 for Houston. Hard-throwing right-hander Michael Phillies. Ash.
It's been so good after a very shaky start to the year, and he's come on in a dominant fashion. The whip under the 1 mark at .9. In the month of May, the 1.5 ERA. Just doesn't have base runners against him. He has become a beast on the hill.
He worked yesterday, pitched a scoreless 6th inning, throwing 12 pitches in the 8-5 win for Houston after Lance McCullers went the first 5. And as he opens the 10th, he faces Yasmani Tomas. Tomas is 1 for 3. Pat Neshek in 2/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, no runs with no walks, 1 strikeout. Ground ball to third. Valbuena makes it a 1-pitch out for Feliz. Well, he has quickly become one of the go-to guys in the late innings in the Astros bullpen.
Yeah, he was initially just that long guy, the guy that was supposed to eat up innings when you were in a rough game. Not anymore. And he can get you some innings at this stage of things.
He really can. Brandon Drury singled in the 3rd and scored the first Arizona run. He's 1 for 3. Fouling it back for strike 1. Gene Segura's on deck.
Somebody who can bring the big fastball late in the ball game. 96 there from Michael. He's been higher this year.
Slider's really a big improvement for him. No balls, 2 strikes. He's really added a lot of tilt to the slider this season. It's become a very reliable pitch, teamed with his fastball. He's 2nd in the month of May. He was among American League pitchers in the ERA. And he gets a punch out for out number 2.
Evan Gattis was asking for the heat up, and he got it.
It's got to be a little discouraging for a hitter in an extra inning game to be facing Michael Feliz.
It's kind of what bullpens are all about these days. Find as many of these arms as you can. Of course, there aren't many Michael Felizes around.
No. And capable, of course, of working multiple innings. Gene Segura's had a good night. He's been on 3 times. A walk, a single, and a hit batsman. That's ball 1 to Segura. He was a shortstop in the Milwaukee organization, but Arizona's pretty well stocked with shortstops. He's a second baseman now. Fastball makes it 1-1. That was fun at 96.
Yeah, for you.
Fun to watch. Try to hit that. Rangers lost in extra innings at Cleveland 5-4 in the 11th. They're now 31-22. In for a strike. 1-2.
There are times when it looks like Feliz gets in a rhythm where he's just handing the ball right to the catcher.
Yeah. Nice easy arm action. 33 punch outs in 22 innings this year. Fouled away.
Makes you ask what was holding him back before.
Yeah, it really does. If we discount his first outing of the year on a very cold day against the Yankees, giving up 6 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings, he's been unbelievable. We could discount that, right?
I find it easy. Well, you know, and Colin McHugh is another guy that 1/3 of an inning in his first outing against the Yankees game 2 just tore him up. I think he had a 135 ERA coming out of that effort.
Tyler Clippard getting loose.
Colin has done great work in improving that.
Swing and a miss by Segura. Gaddis throws him out. To complete a 1-2-3 10th for Phillies. Now the Astros come up in the bottom half. Gonzalez, Valbuena, Gomez to try to win it. Four ball game, moving to the bottom of the 10th inning. Glad to have you with us for late night baseball from Minute Maid Park. It'll be Gonzalez, Valbuena, and Gomez due up for the Astros. Tyler Clippard is in the game for the Diamondbacks. He will be pitcher number 6 for Chip Hale. Clippard's 2-1 in 20 innings. He has 5 holds with a 2.25 ERA.
10th year in the big leagues. He keeps the ball in the ballpark generally, less than 1 per 9 innings on the year. High rate of strikeouts, almost 10 per 9. A tough guy for the Astros to go after here now in extra innings.
Marwin Gonzalez has a single and he was hit by a pitch. He has scored a run tonight. The Astros have won 4 times in their final at bat this season. And they have 1 walk-off homer. That belongs to this man. Clippard has a devastating changeup. Showing bunt. Marwin takes ball 1. Brad Ziegler went an inning in 2/3, allowing 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, no strikeouts. He survived a 2-out triple by Carlos Correa in the 9th and retired Evan Gattis to push the game to extra innings. Marwin bunts in the air, and here's a hustling Herman diving, and it gets away from him. Tremendous effort by Chris Herman.
I thought he had that thing for an instant. That is a really good play. It's tough behind the plate, picking up the ball coming off the bat up on the little pop-ups. And boy, that was an instant reaction.
Like it never really lodged in the pocket of his mitt. He was trying to keep it in his bare hand there, Ash. He got away from him.
Didn't get the wheels down for the landing and made it kind of tough.
Tell you what, though, that kind of a play in the 10th inning to come sprinting out and diving from behind the plate to go that far, that's something. Really good effort by Herman. Bunted again and foul. And Marwin not abandoning the bunt try. Falls behind 1-2. He hit that walk-off homer against Cleveland in the 16th inning, May 11th. All 4 of his home runs have come in this ballpark this year. He went and struck out.
There's that changeup you were talking about, Bronny.
Yeah.
Clippard gives you full arm speed and then just trust that grip. Splitter on the grip.
Yeah. Really comes tumbling out.
He's got that placed a little deeper than a lot of the guys on that splitter.
He does. Luis Valbuena is 0 for 3 with a walk. Clippard was drafted by the Yankees in the 9th round in 03. He's been with Washington and Oakland. Arizona signed him as a free agent prior to this season. In fact, in February for a 2-year, $12 million deal.
Remember when guys had the nerve to call that a forkball?
Yeah. Elroy Face did pretty well with it, didn't he?
They didn't have all the saves back then, did they?
No, I think he won 18 games.
18 and 1 year, something like that.
Along about 59 or so, throwing that forkball. Just an amazing pitch.
He never learned to throw the splitter, so he settled with the forkball.
In for a strike. 1-2 to Valbuena now.
Looks like an over-the-top breaking ball.
Yes, it did. Clippard worked one hitless inning in yesterday's game in Arizona. It's kind of a quick pitch that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Gomez is on deck. Zach Greinke and Dallas Keuchel tomorrow at 1:10. Now a full count to Valbuena. Good cut. Cleveland won it in the 11th on a Yan Gomes single to center field to beat Texas. Cole Hamels starting for Texas. Trevor Bauer for Cleveland, both allowing 3 runs in 7 innings, and Cleveland took it 5-4. Indians now 3 above 500. Valbuena steps out.
Is there a common thread to victories over the Rangers? We need to figure that out.
Yeah. Struck him out. 2 punch outs for Clippard. And it'll be Carlos Gomez, who's 1 for 4.
Just a fastball. So you're looking for that fastball the whole at bat, and you finally get it with the 3-2 count. It's tough to even consider that with all the off speed from Clippard.
You bet. A lot of options for Clippard. Big cut by Gomez. There's strike 1.
Again, that looks like the over-the-top breaking ball. Chin strap is just not working.
Yeah, we hear quite a bit of commenting about Gomez coming out from underneath that helmet. And bounces up there, 1-1. And the question for many people watching Carlos Gomez is, can he play under more control than that when he swings the bat?
On the whole, tonight it has looked better.
Yes. Swing has been more under control. He had a nice line drive hit in the 4th off the left field wall. One and 2.
And he goes to that little quick stride to the plate. It's been a fastball twice. And ultimately, that's the pitch you would love to get from Clippard.
Oh, he was walking off, and it's called ball 2.
I don't know if that's a splitter or a changeup of some sort. It looks on the grip like a changeup, and it's also strike 3.
And he got strike 3 there to push this game to the 11th inning by striking out the side in the 10th for Clippard. 4-4. Jack Link's beef jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. In downtown Houston, we've had a heavy rain earlier tonight. And now it's 4-4 as we move on to the 11th inning. Michael Phillies versus Tyler Clippard. Both the 6th pitcher used by their teams tonight, and both had 1, 2, 3 innings in the 10th. Phillies faces Michael Bourne leading it off in the 11th inning. Bourne doubled in that 3-run 9th when Arizona tied it. He also has a walk tonight and some excellent defensive work in center field. In for strike 1 at 85 for Michael. Phillies is showing some different wrinkles the more we see him. The fastball looked a little bit faster after the first pitch, and at 95 it comes in for strike 2.
You just have to love this stuff.
Bounce back to Phillies. It might have taken that stretch by Marwin to get him.
Let's take one less step toward the bag and go ahead and go overhand.
Casual toss.
You ever wonder, Brownie, who's out there listening?
Every now and then.
Yeah. Terry Poole is on that list tonight with his son.
Terry is a hardworking guy who gets up early in the morning. Why is he listening now?
Loves Houston Astros baseball. That's why.
Very good. Paul Goldschmidt is 1 for 4. Terry will be up much earlier than us tomorrow. There's strike 1.
Well, I don't know. You got a day game tomorrow, Brownie. I know your program.
Well, we do have to get up early for that, right?
You'll be running around the neighborhood.
Looking for box scores. Yeah. Trying to steal papers off somebody's front porch to get some box scores. 1-1.
I've seen you with that computer. You can find all that stuff at home.
Have you ever beaten the newspaper guy to the punch?
I have, but those were bad days.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. They were bad days. Yeah.
Yeah, you start going around the neighborhood at 3:30 in the morning. Something is wrong with your program. Yeah.
Good heater there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
97. Look at this stuff.
Yeah. Goldschmidt is such a good hitter. Well, you can't take him for granted with 2 strikes in the count, can you?
Never.
3-2 now. He was at 2-2 when he ripped that line drive caught by Marwin in the 9th inning. It was headed for right field.
Yeah, you figured at that point maybe you caught the big break you needed in the inning.
Wow. Wow.
That's what it's become with Michael Phillies is wow. Every time he runs out there.
3rd strikeout.
Keep in mind, this is one of the game's exceptional hitters. And this fastball just blows by.
That is impressive. 5 straight retired by Phillies, 3 by strikeouts. Now Lamb. Off speed to Lamb for ball 1. Lamb tied it with a 2-run homer in the 9th inning. That extended his hitting streak to 10 games. That's a tough pitch. 1-1.
I'm not sure Phillies owns anything that's not a tough pitch right now.
You're right. Oh boy. 1-2. He gets that call. It is doubly tough on the hitter.
Like they've said so many times with guys who throw really hard, it sounded good.
Fans are up. Fastball tied him up. But will it be in play for Marisnik? No, it will not. Well, the Astros, of course, had Mike Lamb, fine left-handed hitter.
Also a third baseman.
Yep.
Guy who could play at first.
He was an emergency catcher too, right?
I believe that's the case. You know, he was a good hitter, dangerous hitter.
Yeah. He delivered some of those late game pinch hits. Hit a World Series homer in 05. He struck him out. 6 in a row retired by Michael Phillies with power and precision. He strikes out 4. We go to the bottom of the 11th inning, 4-4. We've been getting some questions from people on Twitter, Ash, about the extra inning games the Astros have played. This is their 8th extra inning game of the year. That is tops in the American League. That's what people want to know. And inquiring minds also want to know about all of Major League Baseball, where the Atlanta Braves have played 9 extra inning games to lead the majors. They are 2-7.
Boy, you couple that with their record overall, and that's a rough start to the year.
You bet it is. Tony Kemp gets it going in the home 11th inning. He delivered a pinch sac fly in the 8th. That made it 4-1 Houston. Tyler Clippard gets strike one on the fastball. He struck out the side in the 10th. This is quite a late game duel between Phillies and Clippard in terms of punch outs in extra innings.
Very different styles of pitching too. Great deal of off-speed stuff here from Clippard.
That's a foul tip for an 0-2 count on Tony Kemp.
Lead arm and glove flying up in the sky, and a lot going on there with Clippard.
Little chop out to second. Segura, 1 out.
Yeah, the toughest thing about these extra inning games, and I think they're tough on everybody, but that bullpen, it just gets chewed up.
The Astros bullpen ERA has been coming down steadily, with that best in baseball ERA in May, 2.33. Jake Marisnick is 0 for 3 with a sac bunt. A different story for Arizona, certainly with the ballpark being one of the best hitters parks in the major leagues at Chase Field. So pitching can be extremely challenging there with all the wide open spaces in the outfield. That's foul. One and one to Jake. Stylish headgear.
Don't try it at church.
No. Marisnick fouls it away. 1-2. Way upstairs. 2-2 to Jake. George Springer's on deck. Fastball struck him out. 5 straight retired by Clippard.
Just a fastball. And you get to looking at so much of that off speed, as we said last inning, that fastball tends to catch you off guard.
Springer doubled in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 4 with a walk. Altuve's on deck. High drive deep left center field. Springer's into his trot. He's won this ball game. George Springer with a walk-off homer. And the Astros walk it off with a 2-out long ball in the 11th. Springer has put together such an amazing surge as a leadoff man. It's his 13th home run, and the Astros take it 5-4 in the 11th. There's a leadoff guy with some power. There's a leadoff guy who leads his club in long balls.
And you know what, Browning? As tough as extra inning games can be, when you win them like this, they might actually be a shot in the arm.
Yeah, after losing the lead with the 3-run 9th inning for Arizona, the Astros regroup, and now they'll take a 5-game winning streak into their meeting with Zach Greinke tomorrow.
And as we watch George Springer take the curveball out of the yard, don't minimize the job by Michael Feliz either. George knew it instantly. That That's what exceptional talent can do.
That's 8 wins in 9 games with Springer as the leadoff man. And the Astros, with a 5-game winning streak, are now 25-29. We go down on the field with Brendan Agans.
Thanks, guys. Astros win it in walk-off fashion, 5-4. As you said, a season-high 5-game winning streak, thanks to this man right here. What are you looking for in that bat? And just walk us through it.
I was just trying to get a hit. You know, I was just trying to get to first base for Hosey and was able to get a good piece of it.
And when you're up to the plate in those situations, you guys have come through so many times. It seems like it's another guy each time. What's it like to be the guy tonight?
I'm just happy to help us win. You know, that's a great game for us to get right there, and I'm just happy to help us win.
And this recent stretch, you've been on fire, and this just kind of tops it off this last couple weeks. What's it been like this last couple weeks?
It's been fun, you know. Like I said, I'm just trying to help us win and, you know, do anything I can, you know, to help the team. And I'm glad I was able to put a good swing on one right there and help us hit a series against a good team.
Astros win it 5-4 in walk-off fashion thanks to George Springer. Send it back up to Brownie and Ash.
Thanks, Brendan. What a game for the Astros as they were able to ride the pitching of Michael Phillies, who's now 4-1, and he bought them some time to find that extra offense to score for the first time since the 8th inning. Springer does it on the Astros' second long ball of the night, and they are now 3-0 against Arizona. They go for their 6th straight win tomorrow with Dallas Keuchel on the mound against Zach Greinke. Final score in 11, Astros 5, Diamondbacks 4.